So, the five of you just know I'm going to demand answers later. But until then, how was everybody's weekend? As we to trickle in, and I post that we're live in all the places.
All the places.
Well, technically not all the places. I already posted everywhere in the Discord, but I took a moment to shade Cody in the Discord, so that took a little longer. I did.
Why
Go check PC and you'll see why I shaded Cody.
I do why. I do the moment.
For anybody who's not part of Cyborg Central or just any Discords that I'm in, I will post us about an hour before we start, and then I'll quote it and be like, hey, we're live now. And Cody had posted a drag race video right under it. So I was like, Cody trying to hide us, but we're live.
I knew it the moment you said that. I was like, I know what that is.
Cody doesn't want anybody to be here today. It's
fine. Betrayal.
I could have hit it way better.
There's a part of the movie where I was like, oh, and then this happened. And I stopped. I almost made the joke, top 10 5 Watch Mojo betrayals. But I was like, no, I can't. Mainly because I understood it too much. I'm like, I can't count it as a betrayal.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
What part of it? I don't.
The part where Graham agrees to do the thing with Rock. Graham is the girl who looks like the antagonist.
I know her name.
Okay.
I learned her name.
When I was like making a note that she reminded me of the antagonist from The Craft, like in aesthetics and facial features, I was sitting there, I was like, babe, what's that witch movie we like? He's like, and I'm like, the one from the 90s. Continues to stare at me, and I'm like, with the horror one with the evil, the power of 4 instead of the power of 3, and he's like, The Craft, and I'm like, yes, thank you.
I like how he's like, babe, which movie do we like? He's like, there's so many.
Right?
He
stares at me in our long list of witch media.
Yeah, he's like, there's still so many.
From the 90s, stares at me in one of the best eras for witch movies.
Yeah, it's just like,
I love this movie. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Cookie King is just... Savion sent me live reacts of his watching the movie. It was great.
I was going to.
I haven't seen this movie, but figured it's okay. We always welcome. That reminds me, I need to do the poll. Thank you. I do a poll to see how many people have seen the movie and how many people haven't seen the movie, and then that determines if I go like scene by scene. I don't know if I would be able to do this movie scene by scene. My memory has already blocked out things, but it's fine.
Yeah, I watched it this morning and I'm already forgetting things. I'm like,
I watched it like Saturday or Friday, and I do not remember half the movie. So how was your weekend, CV?
Pretty good, restful, which is always nice. Woohoo! Hi. My weekend was meh, but I got plenty of reading in. Hello. Right before CV actually answers the question, so this weekend was my middle child's birthday. Woo! And if anybody would like to help me in my quest to get him a copy of Breath of the Wild so he stops stealing mine, my Ko-fi is down below. Just make a note. It's for the middle child's Botwa fund. Like, I don't understand. He asked for like 5 games for his birthday, right? Breath of the Wild was not on the list, okay? So we got him one, his uncle got him another, and then like no, he only asked for 4 and he got like 2 or 3. Cool. I started playing Breath of the Wild to unwind Monday. You can see me doing so on Savion's stream, which y'all should go watch on the replay. And a couple days ago, I'm like, yes, now I can like go start getting materials to upgrade my shit. And my child comes in my room and he's like, Mom, can I play Breath of the Wild? I stare down at the only copy we have. It's been months since I've had time to play it. And I just sigh in parental sacrifice and hand it over to him. And I'm like, I should have got him Breath of the Wild. He played Kirby twice.
I like
so help my relaxation / the middle child's Breath of the Wild fun down below. Whoever wanted this is paying for my hey, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. So excited to hear y'all chat about it. So CB, how was your weekend?
I did things this weekend. I didn't really. Oh, I worked on college like list thing, like things for transferring that I had to. I got my grades. Ya bitch got all A's.
Yeah.
1 A minus. It's still an A. So yeah, I didn't do anything this weekend. I mostly just relaxed. And cleaned my room. Haha. It was bigger task than it sounds. Because it had all the like my family uses my room as a storage space when I'm at college. So there's just like a bunch of stuff. There was a bunch of stuff in my room that is not mine. Or like random piles of like dirt and dust from the attic because the attic access is up there. So yeah, my room is in a proper state now. So I'm happy about that. My voice sounds weird.
What your girl should have done, but she didn't do.
What'd she do, but she didn't do?
She should have prepped the mermaid list so I could put a poll up today.
H2O season 1.
No, we're doing a movie.
Someone's supposed to watch Sailor Moon.
We'll do H2O. Catch up on Sailor Moon so we can actually do the motherfucking stream.
I had an H2O dream like a week ago, okay? It's on my mind.
Have Sailor Moon streams.
Which means you should be amply motivated to catch up on Moon so we can do the next stream.
That's like your childhood versus my childhood. That's like I
also watched H2O in my young adulthood.
Yeah, I also watched H2O.
Different than being like tiny.
Yeah, but I'm making a promise. I'm making a commitment with a string attached for you to complete your commitment.
You complete your commitment.
Congrats
you get a
on the
reward.
A's. Woo, all A's. Cody, how was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty chill, mildly stressful, mainly self-inducing. I've been working on a project that has been added like slightly more stress to my life, but it's not. It's just me because I'm adding stressing myself out. I've also decided to start the process of like a small business thing of like getting a business license and shit so I can actually like sell my book when it comes out and other things.
Keep talking, Cody. I'm just showing Fox something. Go on.
It's fine. I can vamp for hours. Don't worry. And it's a Bakugo hoodie.
He was complimenting my hoodie, and so I was like, yeah, CB got it. He's like, it looks comfy which is impressive from a video. And I'm like, yeah, I know, right? And I'm like, and it's Bakugo. He's like, of course it is. It's from CB. Of course it is.
So I'm currently just like deciding on what kind of name I want to go with. Mm-hmm. I just recently, talking more, because since I want to do like multimedia stuff, I don't want to just use my name.
You got it interesting.
I don't want to just use my name, so I'm gonna decide whether I want doing like XX Studio, and I'm still deciding on what the XX is.
It's still say Moondark.
Dark Moon Studios.
Yeah, Dark Moon or Moondark.
I like Dark Moon
because it's a Sailor Moon reference. It's a werewolf reference.
It is. Also, it's ambiguous enough to be like, oh, what is that? I think I might do that. I might go with that one. Say
Also
myself
to
down.
Fox, I know July isn't Mermay. However, I am releasing a Murder short story to the general public in July. So
It's real good.
I need to read
It's good.
also, Cool Gamer, you've apparently baffled the Fox because your hello today was different. So
Other than that, it was relaxing, and I watched a movie that I have thoughts and opinions on.
I'm saying Cody's name for his business could be.
My business will probably be called Darkmoon Studio.
I'm semi coming up with a series of mer puns for a series of shorts. So
I will read all of them.
that is how I am. Hold on, let me go
And I will.
real quick, and then we will do intros because we're at 11 minutes.
And I will tell you how much I love / hate.
Merlin is gonna be another one that I do. CV looks so.
You're so proud of yourself with that one.
Merlin. I can't take credit for that one. I forgot who said that one, but I was like, it's mine now. So
Snatched.
I win this time for because the mermaid movie in July. So
also, side note, I was deleting a reply in a Boredom Island note, and it deleted every single reply before that, and I panicked. I'm like, oh, why did you delete all of them? And like Control Z, and they all came back. I'm like,
Yay!
all right, go ahead and do your intro, Cody.
Hello, hi everybody. My name's Cody Keller. I'm a gay creator who likes to make gay shit straight people have had it too good for too long. I am currently working on my debut novel, which is about witches and werewolves and shit. Recently doing some revisions to it, but it's fine. We're good with it. Follow me on my social media links down below, where I kind of go through a little bit of a rebranding and just make more gay things. That's not just books.
Bonjour. I'm CV Ferrenz, young adult fantasy writer, teenager for 6 more months as of today. I just realized, oh god, I'm running out of time. Okay, college student filmmaker.
That feeling never goes away.
An all-around dumbass. I'm currently taking a break from my trilogy because it's baggage, and writing outlining a gay dragon story. So,
Tastes good.
Okay, I'm interested.
You'll love it, Cody.
My outline, Cody.
I would love to see it.
I make videos, and they'll be coming back because I am on summer break. So yeah, that's me.
Let me take my banner down. And hello, I'm Writing Mom Samantha on Nasset. This is my channel where I talk about writer things, parent things, and writer-parent things. On Mondays, we sometimes do Let's Talks like this, where we deeply disappoint chat or wildly surprise them because we talk about whatever I or chat wants to talk about. Sometimes, like next Monday and the Monday before, we do writing sprints where everybody's productive and chats and just has a good old time, which if you like those kind of things, the Worldwide Writeathon is this weekend. You can check out the links for it in the link tree down below. I will be on like 6 or 7 streams. I don't remember. I'm going to be there for half the Writeathon on stream.
And I'm with her for, I think, 2 of them.
Yes!
I'm not there at all.
All my streams, I'm with Sam.
When I do post content again, it will be on Thursdays, which again I am desperately catching up on life things and writing things, and I've still been researching genre things for like scripts and stuff. So soon, well, okay, not soon. Soon is relative. Maybe before next year, I'll be able to have a video or 2 up. Woohoo! If you would like to see a sample of my writing, you can go to my website, samanthaelnasset.com, to read my spooky flash fiction, Until Pizza Do Us Part. And while you're there, to keep up to date with all things Sam, most things WWW, and to get a sneak peek at all that glitters, sign up to the newsletter, because my newsletter subs get all the things early. If you please like this stream, subscribe, ring-a-ding the bell so that you're always notified when I post things. And yeah, if you like what I do here, or if you would like to help my relaxation / get the child a video game fund, my Ko-fi is down below.
Give Sam money.
So yeah, I think that's all the things. I have messages from Fox. I have to check. Apparently, Fox is going to perish in 6 months when CB becomes a not teenager.
Oh,
Fox, you're not allowed. I
No.
will
Sir.
resurrect you and tie your soul to something.
I need maximum guides into adulthood.
I was going to say, sir, I have marketing questions. I need you to answer.
I need
Too
as
many of
as
us need you.
possible.
You can't perish just because CB aged.
So hold on, wait a
He
minute.
said, "What is this? Neither Matt nor CB on dubba 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 team. CB will be away at family things. She was very
Yes,
disappointed.
those
Leave her
my
alone.
family.
Why are you having lives, team? Y'all have 6 months to get what you need out of me. All right. So what if I write the sequel for Not For Her and then don't give it to you for like a year?
Someone needs to invent immortality. Give
I
it to
did.
me in the next 6 months. And so
I did.
I don't have it. You need to
Because you're training.
You're still in training,
No,
B.
never, there's one
Hold on,
people
there's a
talk-
difference between immortality and never aging. They're not the same. This is why I have incarnations.
She's like the doctor.
Fox says, then I fly to your house and steal your laptop, obviously, and then leave without even saying hello. So rude.
I would love. I just
Okay.
imagine a big caper, and then he crashes into something, and then the lights turn on. He just grabs it and goes.
All right. So, firstly, I have put up a poll because I need to know what kind of mood are we feeling for Merfilm July to celebrate the release of Mermurder.
And if you guys are cool, then I'll wear my mermaid tail.
So far only horror and comedy have votes, and comedy is winning by a landslide. This is mildly unfortunate because I think only half of the ones I picked are horror related. Okay, I have a list.
Oh, I tried to offset the landslide, but it did not work. Because it doesn't show you until you
Cody,
vote.
you should have voted for romance. Damn it!
Why? Does not like romance is gonna win?
Why you got hurt me like this, Cody? You're fired.
Not the first time this has happened.
Really?
It won't be the last.
It's not.
I failed my perception.
I don't know that I fire anybody else, but I occasionally fire Cody.
That's the second time she's done that to me.
She's keeping count. You should go put that on the Mila note.
Oh,
gotta
I'm
go
already on it.
I gotta go through all of those quotes that you left because I am not putting all of them up there.
Oh, no,
but some
I
of
would
them are
not.
fine.
I would not either, but a lot of them are
What are
really
you putting
funny.
on the Milo note?
In
Did
my
you not
lore
see all the
board.
5,000 quotes I added over the weekend?
No, I did not.
She's the
Oh,
devil.
you should go.
Okay,
It's a
hold
fun
on.
time.
I haven't figured out how to use Milo note yet.
We'll teach her after the stream. It's fine. Okay, so where was the poll? So 55 people or 55% have seen this movie. 44% have not. Why did no did mermaid film in Mermaid? Because my story wasn't ready in Mermaid. I don't even remember. I don't remember what I did last month. What did we do last month? We did Ghostbusters.
We did Ghostbusters last month.
Sir, we did
This is the second one in a row I've done. Even I was like, what did we do last month?
But we're the experts here, Cody.
Okay. Now, so basically, I'm going to condense this film a bit. So there is a cheerleader who is with her boyfriend, does not seem very physically attracted to him, but also I don't think a living being on this planet would be attracted to that kind of kissing. But I don't know, some people have low standards, but like
Really low standards.
I don't like my face being eaten, like
No.
literally. Anyway,
I've had it done. It's terrible.
so you kind of get from the get-go that, well, not the very get-go, but the morning of the next day, something is up. Her parents are talking about a thing, and they set up an intervention because their daughter is their daughter is a homosexual. And
Oh my
so
God.
this teenage girl is sent to conversion therapy, which I don't want to necessarily say consents to go, but she is there for the most part of her own volition.
She said no, and then she ended up in the car on the way
Yeah,
there.
I think it was one of the situations
No.
where like, no, and then her parents are like, you're going.
It's one of those things where it's like dubious consent, because she said no, she didn't want to go, but she didn't want to go because she didn't think she was gay. And so then they like kind of provided evidence, and she was sort of convinced. She's like Armstronged into it.
He was gaslit.
Yes, there you go. She was like kind of gaslit into going. And then like while she's there, she's in denial and everything. And it's just this teen's experience going through conversion therapy, but also like coming to accept her own sexuality. And by the end of it, she does leave / was kicked out. Kind of implies that she left willingly, but she was going to be kicked out either.
There was an ultimatum, and she chose to leave rather than to do a thing and stay.
Yeah.
Yes. And so then she goes to a gay halfway house kind of deal, meets up with one of the boys who had got kicked out of the conversion therapy
Because of her.
and they like hang out and then somehow get a hold of some fake ass BDs.
Well, they were the gay couple, like the men wore earlier.
Did they?
Yeah, they wore the.
Then I'm
Well,
questioning
why
how
the
they
hell
fit
is
the children.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
Lloyd shouldn't be fitting anybody.
Yeah, it's like what?
By the way, very confusingly, Cadet Kelly and her friend Cadet Zuko went to like steal their love interest away, and Clayton, the poor boy who had been shoved in a doghouse for a week, he was caught making out. Very eagerly went away with his love and his boyfriend Dolph, and then took a little bit more convincing to get the main character's love interest to go. But then like they're happy and gay together at the end of the film, except the other teenagers who went through with the conversion therapy.
Yeah.
All in all, I was mildly confused as to why this was labeled a romantic comedy.
Yes.
Then I remember the like Shakespearean definition of a comedy and a tragedy, and I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. It's just like a Shakespearean comedy. So, yeah, that is the very condensed version of the plot. Can you even? No, he was trying to eat her face alive. I actually saw a couple kissing like that on the. No.
It reminds me of the like one
how.
couple in the high school hallway that like between classes they'll be like on top of a locker, and you're like, oh my god, I just want to go to social studies.
I just want to go to social studies.
See, I find it more acceptable that teenagers were, just because you got to learn how to kiss. Not everybody like knows how to kiss, but like people on the subway.
Yeah. Unless they were teenagers on the subway.
I didn't laugh. I didn't say you laughed. I laughed.
I don't know. There was a few chuckles.
Because of romantic comedy. There were some funny things. I will say, like, I wouldn't call it a rom-com, but I see why it is called a rom-com.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the movie? Why was it enjoyable? Chat, y'all go ahead and tell us what you think, because I know several of you really love this movie. CB, you're in the hot seat since Cody was fired earlier, so you get to first.
There's perks of getting fired.
Also, as a disclaimer for anybody who doesn't know us, all three of us, we're loud, we're here, we're queer, so we're not straight people talking about this is the point. All right, go on, CB.
All right.
I don't have a flag!
Mine's super wrinkly and I need
I'm lazy. All right, go ahead.
I think.
Oh, see, that makes sense.
I called it. I don't think I hated it as much as you guys did. Maybe I just have a lower bar.
Wait. I never said I hated it.
I also never said
I didn't dislike it as much as y'all did. How about that?
I never said I disliked it. I said I have problems and I have strong opinions. Don't put you talk about your opinion. I'll talk about mine. Just say you enjoyed it.
Okay, so for the first chunk of the movie,
Mhm.
I thought I was missing something. Like, I was watching the movie, like, in the entire opening where they're like, no, okay, the opening shots of the movie are just close-up of really hot cheerleaders. And that just threw me off my rhythm for the rest of, like, the next 10 minutes. And I didn't get the plot of the movie. Like, I got it, but I thought it was going to be very different. When they were, like, doing this intervention, and they were treating this very intense thing that can, like, literally ruins multiple, like, so many people's lives. Like, your family saying you're not allowed to be gay, or you are gay and you're not allowed to be, as, like, a very, like, this is so funny, oh my god, they're bringing up all this evidence against you, and, like, all your friends and family are sitting around you, and you're, like, sitting alone on a couch, and there's this stranger there who's RuPaul.
RuPaul.
Let me tell y'all, I saw RuPaul. I saw his shirt said something like, "Hi, I'm straight," and I'm like,
You're straight is great, right?
I was waiting for the face turn. That never happened.
Yeah. So I kept thinking, there's a later point where I'll explain what I thought the plot of the movie was going to be from that scene. As soon as we saw RuPaul, I had an entire plot that, like, went out in my head, and I was like, oh, I might enjoy this. But it seemed hella insensitive, the entire movie. And so I don't know if I enjoyed it. I kept having to stop because it was making me feel, like, nauseous. Like, I was literally like,
your empathy was too strong for this movie.
Yeah. And it was like, I've had so many friends who, like, because I'm relatively close to the character's age, they're all like 17-ish, like, be in this situation, their, like, parents threw them out. Like, that was the main character got thrown out, like, oh, if you're going to be gay, you can't live here anymore. One of the other main characters, it was, you can't go to college, you get a car, and you don't get, like, trust fund, so also, like, cut off. One of the kids was, like, begging, like, don't tell my parents, that kind of thing, like, I can't go back there. And so, like, this is stuff I've heard from people I care about, and then it was in this movie and not addressed, or if it was, like, said, it was not given the weight it deserves, or was played off for laughs, or they mentioned it and then they totally don't touch on it again, like with the side characters. So yeah, it was a heavy watch for me, and I don't think it was supposed to be a heavy watch. I did laugh throughout the movie, and at the end I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
I mean,
that's like a really low bar.
It was
so,
gay,
yeah.
yes.
That's my synopsis vibes.
Hey, Cody, what's yours?
So I did not know nothing about this movie. Lesbian flicks are not my jam. They're not my first go-to.
Are you sure, as a lesbian man?
Guys,
all right, I had to do that. I love him. All right, go on.
Only Sam's allowed to, and Stevie sometimes. So, like, I knew nothing of this movie, but it was, like, a huge landslide. So, like, I kind of had, like, some hopes and expectations. It was like, okay, everyone likes this. It's won by a landslide. Let's see. I knew nothing of it. I just looked up nothing. I just hit play. Boy, was I mistaken, because I assumed it would be a fun romp, like a fun high school romp about cheerleading squads, and, like, maybe she gets kicked out, but then she comes back in, she's like, but I am the cheerleader, and then, like, she does backflips and, like, wins the championship or something. So lo and behold,
Cody thought he was watching a cheerleader movie from the 90s.
Listen, I did. I was like, okay.
Late 90s, early 2000s had a lot of them.
Can you blame me? So I was like, okay, cool. And then, as, like, within the first 10 minutes, they're like, oh, this is an intervention, you're homosexual, you got to go to conversion therapy. I was like, oh, this is completely not at all what I thought this was gonna be. I don't know if I signed up for the right thing.
Cody's like, I have regrets committing.
Why do I commit to so many things, guys?
Why do I just do whatever Sam says without looking at things like she tells me to?
I mean, this happens way too often.
I need chat in the world to know that I don't just tell them, hey, we're going to do this. No, I'm like, hey, so I want to do this. Are you okay with it? And they're like, yeah, no, fine.
Yeah, no, I'm just so easily
They're only
influenceable.
blindsided by their
And
own.
Sam we trust.
Yeah, my
I
own
told
trust
them
in my
not to.
friendship.
I knew nothing about this movie.
All of us were blindsided, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But it was just like, oh, and then we get to the conversion therapy, and it's very much because context. I read a book about two characters who survived conversion therapy, but it was like the super terrible one. So like to me, it was like, oh, this is kind of making me feel a lot of feelings that I don't.
So you
like to
also
feel.
empathize too hard with the heavier side.
I also empathize too hard with the heavier side because of the book and because of like a mild fear I actually had in growing up in this age of this experience. Because I've heard of these and I was like, I don't want that.
Yeah, I went and laid on the floor and I was like, oh, thank God I missed that for the most part. Like, obviously, this is still happening today and like, hella not legal or okay. But
yeah, I was like, and then a lot of it was like very just like misogynistic, like, oh, men just do this, and then a lot of it was played for laughs, and there was a few chuckles. I can't say I did not chuckle because I did. But there's a lot of times where I'm like, I don't like this. It's not my favorite movie in the world.
I think there was a line, that was what I felt like I was missing something. There's a line of comedy in there, I'm pretty sure. Like not like a dialogue line, but like a through line, where they were doing like the like women's and men's roles, like the men chop wood and the women scrub floors, like that kind of thing was, I think it was supposed to be like, this is stupid.
It's supposed to be parody.
Yeah.
But they seem to parody a little bit too hard. Where it's like, it was no longer a parody sometimes. Or like when they're playing football. And it's just like, I could see.
So, oh, sorry.
It's fine. It's just, those are my feels.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So in order for me to answer this question, I want to, well, first I'll look at what chat said, and then I want to go into a little bit of context. But Tina said she thought it was hilarious personally, but it's definitely an acquired taste, so I understood those who don't like it. Also, it was my intro into RuPaul. Like I said, I knew RuPaul. I know him so well. I know what he looks like outside of drag. And I saw him the moment he stepped into frame. I was like, sir. And I had sir. I didn't enjoy this too many red flags. I think having the person who showed it to me explain it as a dark comedy / parody really helped my reception of it. So here's the thing. Because of the way that people gushed about this movie and they're like, oh, it's such a cute lesbian romance. It's so funny. I'm like, oh, okay, so a lighthearted rom-com. We get into the movie. I'm less than 5 minutes into the movie. I'm like, this is not a lighthearted rom-com. Just like the tone of the filming and everything. So I already knew, based on how much fucking media I've consumed, that this was not going to be a lighthearted comedy, right? So like I flipped my expectations right then. And then as it like gets into it and everything, I'm like, okay, so I watched it more analytically than I normally would for these kind of movies because I knew that was going to be the main way I enjoyed it. Because it is a Shakespearean comedy, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And a Shakespearean comedy is a comedy because this, like, the original job of comedy was not to be funny. It wasn't to make you laugh. The original job of comedy was to take social issues and tell it in an entertaining way to get across a darker or deep message while also getting under the censors who wouldn't otherwise let you make media like that. And like using that definition, that is exactly what this movie is, at least to me.
Yeah. No, I got that too. And like,
so providing more context, this movie was made in the late 90s, right? Mm-hmm. The late 90s wasn't from my memory, as I was 9 to 10, and like looking back at history and stuff as I grew older, the 90s wasn't the worst time for queers, but it wasn't the best time either. And so like this movie could be made, right? But it had to be made a certain way. Like, she had to take out all reference of girls going down on girls in order to maintain an NC-17 rating.
Wasn't there a shot of that in the movie?
There was like all verbal references.
Okay, I'm like, during their lengthy makeout scene, they had the camera moving, and then she was exiting the other girl's night dress.
That's that's an implied thing
Okay.
that
Yeah.
happened, not
I
direct.
was like,
So you can get away with a lot more when you imply it with like camera.
Yeah,
stuff
versus
like that.
explicitly showing it.
Now, I will say the director themselves, because that's another big thing for me, is who's creating the media and like their interpretation of it. And Jamie Babbitt, about their own like labels, has said, I'm happy to embrace any labels because I feel like it's important to be a role model. I have a lot of labels. Lesbian would be one. Bisexual, mother, white, woman, Midwestern, I embrace them all. Which this kind of tells me that Jamie Babbitt has a very 90s and older perspective on sexuality. Nowadays, you probably would not like nobody would call themselves both a lesbian and bisexual because they're like, no, those are two different things. But in the 90s, it's like you could go by that. Like you would be a lesbian, bi, and heterosexual. You could claim all of those titles just whenever you wanted, which now it's because of the history with bi erasure and everything, a lot of people are like, you shouldn't do that. So that, like I said, that's just one of those things that tells me like the mentality of the director in the era that it was made in, which I think the times the movie was made in and everything is very important. Jamie Babbitt also grew up with their mom ran a treatment program for teens with drugs and alcohol problems called New Directions, which is what True Directions was loosely like inspired and based by. The movie itself was inspired from an article that Jamie read about a man who had gone through a conversion therapy camp. And because of that, Jamie wanted to kind of tell that story. Now, as for what I thought of the movie, I thought it was a really good movie. I thought it was very well done. It's not particularly my cup of tea for entertainment, but it would be like my cup of tea for education because I feel like they handled so many things were handled well and realistically. And like, for example, you're talking about that shot of hot cheerleaders and that like those kind of shots and clips come back again and again, but they're not sexualized by the camera.
No,
you can tell that Megan in her mind is sexualizing it, but the shot itself is actually pretty mundane. So, and that's a very skillful camera directing and everything that I really respected and thought was really well done.
Yeah.
There's a lot in the movie that I have qualms with, but that also largely comes from the fact that it was made in the 1990s and either a lot of these issues were new, still ingrained, but not talked about, or just kind of normal for the time, which I would also like to go into a discussion about that in a little bit later. So, like I said, I didn't find it enjoyable for entertainment purposes, but I did find it very interesting, and it was it was an educational watch for me. And it did get a chuckle out of me quite a few times. I did think that there was quite a few things that was funny. It's also and I made a note of this in the comments. I'm like, I and a lot of people I know have a little bit of religious trauma, but when they were cooking dinner and saying grace, I'm like, oh God, that just takes me back to Sundays eating at my friend's house, who my friend's dad was a preacher and his mama could cook. My damn, his mama could cook. And it just made me miss those meals. So
like it was worth the grace, but ooh, ha-cha-cha.
Yeah,
I almost
also, like Tina said, I do think there's a difference between when you go into the movie knowing what it's supposed to be versus not knowing, because like both of you were pulled too deeply into like you did not get a trigger warning and were triggered basically. I hesitate to say that I was triggered, but there were a couple things in the movie that definitely hit far too close to home for me and very easily could have pushed me over the edge to hating this movie because of if the movie didn't get better, basically, because the beginning is pretty hardcore.
I almost want to call it like a product of its time.
I don't want to say it's a product of its time. I want to say it's there are things that are products of their time that it's like you forgive the problematicness of them because that's how things were at the time, and then there are things that are pushing the envelope for their times to try to make things for the better, and I think that's what this did.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't want to label as that, but that's why like, I don't know another word or phrase for it.
Nowadays, it wouldn't be the same if someone made it, but it wouldn't be needed. Like
Yeah,
it,
but
it wouldn't come out. Like that's not something that would come out nowadays, probably.
Yeah, no, well, yes, it's one of those things where it's like we don't need more stories about XYZ anymore. But at the time, those stories were needed. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have a favorite character? Chat, who's your favorite character? I noticed just like slowly losing people now. They're like, fuck these people.
They don't like the movie, we out.
Which is fine.
I kind of like the characters of Mike and Brock whenever they're, or Mike and Rock whenever they're together.
the very straight men who keep
yes. Yes, it's
having eye sex.
Yes, the entire time. This is probably my favorite bit. Is every time they just within vicinity of each other.
When Mike yells at the teen boys for drooling over Rock, and he's like, "You can't have what you," or it's like, "Stop wanting what you can't have," and I'm like, "Cause he's yours, cause he's yours."
Because yeah, then extends, and he's like.
Also, when Rock is jamming out to music, he's listening to a RuPaul song. When he's weed whacking, I'm like, this is a RuPaul song.
That's great. The character's name escapes me, but one Dante. What? Give me a defining characteristic.
Zuko.
Yeah.
Dolph. I love Dolph. I made because there was a part where they introduced everybody and made them say they're heterosexual. So in my notes it says introducing the gays, and I made like a specific note so I could remember people. Because normally I'm terrible with names. We all know this.
But this time, come on, notes. And I kind of have a little bit of insight on one particular character because it's how my family is.
Well, who's your favorite character?
Not my favorite character.
I know, but I want to know who your favorite character is. That's the question, Cody. It's in the corner.
The characters of Mike and Rock whenever they're together.
Oh, right. Sorry, you answered first. And CB, who's your favorite?
The love interest.
Graham. Megan and Graham have my heart. I love both of them.
I was like constantly annoyed by.
I liked Larry and Lloyd.
Yes, close second.
That they're both L's. That fucks me up, but that's not their fault. We don't match or not match with people. But well, okay, I'm sure somebody in this world.
I liked Graham until the end. I liked a lot till the end. I didn't like the end of the movie.
Well, I like that Larry and Lloyd. One of the things that they do is instead of trying to convince the kids that like, conversion therapy is wrong or you shouldn't do this, you need to be, true to who you are and all of this. It does kind of like have that undertone, but they're like, we just want to show you your options.
Yeah.
Or that you have options so that you can decide whether you want to be true to you or if you want to live hidden away.
Lie to yourself.
Right? Lloyd was like, lie to yourself. Larry was like, hidden away.
I
do like them. They are.
I don't think the relationship is good. Like between them.
Oh, I think they're fine.
Yeah.
I was just like really like.
I think they've gone to relationship therapy because the language they used was very therapized, and that they actually had very strong confrontation resolution skills.
Yes.
All right. I do think Larry needs to admit to his gaslighting, nitpicking a little bit more, but overall, it's.
I think they're perfect, but
he didn't get to like say what he wanted to say.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Larry needs to like own up to like, but Lloyd was also like, I don't feel like you value my input or anything, and then Larry was like, oh yeah, that's, you right. But then it's dinner time, and I'm sure that like they then had a conversation behind closed doors.
Yeah, I would hope so.
So, but yeah, no relationship is perfect, and I actually liked that realistic portrayal that they weren't perfect.
Yeah,
and that not only do they like show the kids, oh hey, you don't just have other options. They like put their money where their mouth is. They're like, no, we'll help you. We'll give you a safe place to stay until you can take care of yourself. Right. And I really liked that. So I thought that Larry and Lloyd were very strong characters and very good characters. And also they were older gay men who were not portrayed in a creepy light. And they were shown in a healthy relationship, which was something that was greatly lacking in media at the time. May still be lacking. I'm not caught up on enough modern media to say that for certain. But the Jewish boy, hold on, I've got his name.
It was Joel.
Joel, thank you. Like Billy Joel. How could I forget?
He had it on his. Yeah.
He had a kippah.
Is it kippah?
It's also called a kippah.
Okay. But I will say one of the homophobic dads did have a line that made me laugh because he wasn't wrong. When they're like talking about their roots and stuff, which took me for fucking ever to figure out what that meant. But
when Graham listed hers, I was like, oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. When the swimmer, I think Andre, he's like, he figured out that he was gay basically because when all the boys in swim started changing in front of each other, he realized that. And then Joel's all like, yeah, me and my friend Jacob, we used to feel each other's legs and this and that. And then the homophobic dad was like, I think he said like sucking each other off is different from learning to dog paddle. And I'm like, I don't like how you phrase that. But those are two very different things.
Yeah, the root wasn't like when they realized, it's what caused them to be gay. Like,
no,
that was the entire point of that section.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. They were defining the root as what caused them to be gay, but for most of them, their root was actually their gay awakening.
Yeah.
The way that some of them phrased it. So like half of them treated their gay awakening as their root, and the other ones treated their root as what caused them to be gay, which is part of why it was confusing, because the one girl, Sinead, she's all like, I was born in France.
Okay.
Born in France doesn't make you gay. But yeah.
Half of them understood the assignment. The other half understood it differently.
Hold on, we lost a CB. Her internet said no. We're not.
Her internet said, gays in my house? Ah, you thought.
Her internet said, I don't care how many pride flags you got back here. Not in this house.
Not in my house.
So, well, while we wait for CB to come back, who's your most disliked character? Chat, who's your most disliked character? Which, again, I feel the need to say, this is just a standard question. This is not like...
This is not a pointed question.
Because I realize how the phrasing can sound if we don't particularly enjoy a movie. But I mean... you don't always hate a character, but generally people dislike at least one character. So
I honestly don't think I disliked anyone. There's some people I liked less than others, but... because everyone played the role they were assigned well, like, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. I feel like we're supposed to dislike the instructor lady.
You can.
But I'm like,
Mary.
Yeah, but it's like, as an instructor lady, like, I don't know. I don't dislike her because she's doing.
I disliked every single parent who sent their child to the conversion therapy.
Oh yeah, of course. But I'm trying to think of one character.
That's all of my characters. Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Mary.
Welcome back.
I was trying to speak that entire time because I was like in the middle of saying something, I'm pretty sure.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, we weren't sure how long it would take for you to be back. So
I didn't realize you guys couldn't hear me.
Ah.
Yeah, because it was Cody at first, and then it was us, and then it was Cody again, and then it was us, and it just kept going back and forth. And then it was everyone, but I could hear you guys the entire time. But you weren't responding to anything I was saying until you went, well, let's wait for CB to get back. I was like, they can't hear me. Okay.
The one character I disliked the most out of like the main cast and not just the parents on principle would probably be Mary. I know, like, I think she's a good character, but that lady was creepy.
Yeah,
that lady was creepy to all those teenagers, especially her son.
Yeah.
I did enjoy when her son was done with her shit at the end. He's like, Mom!
I don't know, sometimes... And like, the extra credit scene implies that she became not super homophobic.
Was Mary at the parent thing? Because I just thought that was Megan's parents.
Oh, I thought it was her dad.
No, her dad, and then her mom was wearing the ugly-ass dress with the little head wrap.
I thought the lady was
No,
Mary
that lady
was the
who
one. I was
wore
like,
pastels.
that's kind of weird, but all right. Like, redemption arc. My most disliked character was Graham's stepmother.
Yes,
Yeah.
telling your child that their mother left because although
Yeah.
I did wonder if that line was to imply that her mom was actually a lesbian.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
sorry, go ahead.
it was said that like the stepmother was the one that found Graham with another girl,
Mm-hmm.
and then which implies that Graham would have been fine.
Yes.
And I like headcanon or whatever that the dad isn't as homophobic. Like obviously he's not good. But it's mostly the stepmother driving the whole.
Oh no, he was the
I don't
most
know, he was
outspoken at
real.
that family therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
But,
real, like, you better
in a-
graduate. You're not getting this, or that.
I have the feeling like politician rich person vibe. So if like he would probably yelled at Graham, and then like if you can keep it to yourself and like out of the public eye, like do whatever you want. Like I don't care, just don't like.
He
put it in
did say that he was sending her to Switzerland to get it out of her system. So
Yeah.
I just don't know that would make him less or more than her stepmother, because her stepmother just seemed to be fulfilling her role.
Yeah, she seemed like manipulative, but she wasn't like.
Out of the main cast, I didn't like RuPaul's character.
Mike. Yeah, Mike was very hypocritical.
More. Like I was like I was expecting like.
I try not to judge a character on my expectations.
No, that's
unfair.
That's the thing. I thought there was going to be a plot line about him like turning in his ways and helping the children.
I too was waiting, but here's the thing: we only expected that because we know who RuPaul is.
Yeah.
So that's like not on the character or the writers. That's on us and our meta knowledge.
I disagree with that, or at least for me. I thought it would be because like the obviously gay guy, obviously interested in the founder's daughter. I thought like the two of them were gonna like join in and be gay together, because literally that was built up more than the main romance.
Can I say
you're not wrong, but
I
just don't feel like. See, that's one of those things where it's like, okay, but because he's so obviously this way and he's condoning the kids so much, it kind of like to me means that he's kind of
too far gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I say a hot take?
Or like he's either too far gone or he's too willing to throw everybody under the bus to keep his own secret.
Yeah.
That's part of one of the points I have, which is I didn't like the ending. Like the ending like fell so flat for me.
So we'll make a point about the ending so that we can talk about that specifically.
I was gonna say something controversial yet brave here on the Samantha Nasset channel.
Oh.
I don't like Graham.
Judging you. Graham? I don't care for Graham.
I like Graham until the end, like in the end third. But I think the majority of that is because she's hot.
I think
Look, we have Cody has added a quote to our board that you've said where you were very angry with someone and you were like, look, just because they're hot doesn't mean they're right. I know it can be confusing sometimes.
I know, and I stand by that. I enjoyed like Graham's character. Doesn't mean I think she's a good guy.
I mean, that's fine. You don't have to think a character is a good person to enjoy.
Yeah, until the like ending third of the movie. Then I was kind of like so done, and I only
I was always neutral with Graham, though I was hoping that nobody would outright hate her because it's one of those things where it's really easy to be like, oh, hey, well, she should have just left or she should have done this and that. And I'm like, well, no, she lived a certain kind of life and she was perfectly content and fine with keeping that. And like you said, maybe dad would have let it be under the table the whole time and she still would have gotten a very safe life. And you're saying she needs to give up all of that to go do what? With what resources?
Yeah, I'm like she's known.
That's not the reason why I don't like her either.
No, I know that's why you don't like her. I'm just saying I was fully prepared to fight anybody who hated her Graham.
That's the reason why I don't like her. Because to be honest, if I was in Graham's shoes, I probably would have done the same thing.
Like
a lot of people did. That's the thing.
Yeah, I would have.
Sorry, let CB talk.
she had like an interesting arc over the movie because she's like, we're introduced to her as she's the only one that's unapologetically gay.
Mhm.
And like she sits alone at the beginning, and is like, I don't understand the rest of you. And as everyone else is like coming into themselves, she's like
Withdrawing
doing
further
the
and further
opposite
away.
direction,
Yeah.
because of the actions of her dad and like being in conversion therapy. And by the end of the movie, yeah, she's sitting with everyone else, but like she's
I think
she's getting
Graham.
threatened with her life, like her future.
I think Graham is so close to being a cautionary tale
Mhm.
of like, because she was so proud and she was so out and everything, and she's like she couldn't understand it, and then her parents' threat, the fear, the conversion therapy, and everything, and it was starting to work. I mean,
Yeah.
like not work, but you know what I mean. It was
Well,
starting
it's
to
not work enough.
yeah, it was starting to make her go far enough back into the closet where she would have, been fine. But because this is a rom-com and we do have to have a happy ending for the main character, at the end she's like, nah, fuck it. I'll give up all of my money, all of my status, all of my everything for this girl that I just met. Which I don't necessarily need a realistic ending or a happy ending. I mean, I know what I mean. I hope y'all know what I mean.
Yeah.
I am perfectly fine with that kind of ending because it implies that they will be happy forever. I don't need to know if they actually break up down the line because they're not compatible. Don't tell me these things.
Yeah, I don't care.
Let me believe that they're fine. They're happily. Dolph and Clayton, they're staying together forever. He lived in the doghouse for a week for that boy.
Well, I also like personally.
No, but yes.
Do we know the timeline of how long they were in that place?
2 months.
I kind of hate that at the very end. This is just a me thing. This is me personally. I hate that, like, at the very end, Megan's like, Graham, I love you. And I'm like, man, you don't know her. You just met her.
From what I know of lesbians and lesbian romances, that is very true to life. They move in very quickly.
Oh, I am fully aware. Don't worry. I know.
Also,
on the third date, they have a U-Haul.
They spent every single day of 2 months together. Like, they're probably each other's first love. Like, yeah, it might not be typical, like, what you would consider an adult, like, saying they love each other. But, like, for teenagers, like, saying I love you is, like, it doesn't carry the same weight to adults, but, like,
to I know adults who say
with that particularly, because I think it can carry the same way.
Yeah, no, it totally can, but like,
I think there's certain big life decisions that should wait until you're older, but emotionally, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's why I said for me personally.
I very biasedly speak as somebody who's been married since I was 19, so.
But I also know people, like, on the first night they met them, they're like, I met my fucking husband. We're going to be married, so.
I mean, Chris, his name right there.
I didn't want to call him out like that. But,
I will. He told me, he's like, I knew I was the one I knew you were the one from
I knew I was the one.
I was the one.
He knew he was the one for me, and I was the one for him from the first time we emailed together. And no, I can't tell him that he's wrong or that he's full of bullshit because he just goes, well, you're married to me, aren't you? And I'm like,
guys, it worked.
So, yeah, the love you thing is accurate in my lesbian life. See,
yeah,
there's certain things that, like, in my notes and stuff, I have to be like, to my secondary knowledge, this is a thing.
Yeah. Oh, I am fully aware. I have plenty of friends who are lesbians. By the third date, they're already moving in. It's just me personally. That's why I had to preface it with me. I am very biased. It's not my favorite thing.
Yeah.
That's fine. We, just as bi-pan women, have to defend our lesbian brother and sister and
trust me, I understand. I get it. I know the fight. I know the struggle.
No, because then that makes it sound like we're dating them if we say companion.
That would be partner. Companions is like, we're in this together.
Depends on which contact we're talking about, because.
All right. A part that stuck out to everybody. What part stuck out to you?
Gratuitous makeout scene in the middle.
Sorry.
The lesbian one. The gay one.
I thought the lesbian one was really cute. I actually thought it was very well done. It may have got one of those. It's one of those things though, where it's like, yeah, I feel it may have gone on a little too long, but I'm demisexual, so I don't really like watching makeout scenes, no matter who's making out.
Like,
So that's
they
like,
could be
I'm like, I don't know if
together.
that's a me thing or not.
Mine was
So-
mostly like approaching it from like a cinema, like from what I
See,
learned
let
of
the gays
film
be
and my eye
happy.
for
Stop.
film, looking at it and watching it was not visually appealing. Like
There was
it
a lot of
wasn't-
pans ups and pans downs, so just a lot of movement.
I
Like,
will
don't-
admit I was mostly taking notes, and then I was like, "Oh, this makeout scene's gonna last a while," and I went to StreamYard to set up today's stream. So
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was
it-
they're like, what is this shot? We saw the shot. You're doing the same thing again. What is this lighting? Like I was like, where even are there? Like
I
there
was
no
literally like, where
establishing
are we
shot.
at?
Like,
No wonder they got caught. There's a spotlight on them.
I love how you can tell demisexual, allosexuals. Me, oh yeah, I just went and did other things during the makeout scene. You two, this was an unsatisfactory makeout scene.
no, I don't even care about the actual making out. Like
I don't care
whatever.
either.
I know.
The camera work.
I just think it's funny.
Both me and CB are upset about the set dressing.
Yeah. I was
Same's just like
okay,
makeout
you
scene
have
goes
to
along
shoot
perfect, no time.
from the bed,
Right? I'm like, makeout scene, time for me to multi.
That means that's
from the beds, but it's
That
not the
don't
actual
bother
sheets, it's
me.
like the
We
blanket.
Christians have what's called ring before spring during high school and college years. What is a ring before? Explain, Savion. Explain.
Purity rings. The, like,
As a
that happened a lot at my high school, or not a
Yeah.
lot.
the
but it
ring
was-
or
before
like a
spring.
promise
Okay.
ring.
Yeah, promise ring. Not purity.
I just want to know to what context does that for us?
I think it was like
That's-
going to do.
I think
other
it was
things
for me,
during
'cause
the
it was like-
makeup.
Stop speculating and let Savion explain to me. We got other
That's
comments. to
Taylor.
address.
That's Sailor Twilight. That's Davion.
No, yeah. Let
But Savion had
Savion
Ah.
answer my question.
So you're talking about.
No, this is why I said stop speculating. All right, as a fellow demi, I hear you. See, I don't find them cringy, but here's the thing. Because I for like when cringy became a word, I was like, the fuck does this even mean? And cringe comes from like embarrassment or secondhand embarrassment, which are not things that I feel. So
Yeah,
I just get bored.
Heavily.
I was-
CB
yeah.
CB understands them deeply though.
so much.
The gay one was better than the one in the beginning. And Savion is straight. I'm pretty sure it was okay for me to say that, but yes. This is true though.
I
yeah.
don't even agree with that.
Anything was better than the
Purpose
straight
of
one's
storytelling. The one in the beginning, you're supposed to be
Anything.
uncomfortable and be like, "This sucks." The lesbian one, you'll be like, "Damn, yeah, they're so great together." I don't know if they want you to be like, "Hot," or like, "Oh, look at them finally getting together."
I don't know. It's not like
Like,
the
it
second one.
doesn't matter because
I think the intended emotion from the lesbian makeout scene was, oh, look at these two young, inexperienced teenagers learning about themselves and their sexuality in this very realistic, low-key makeout scene
And also that they like
that I
finally
stopped
are,
paying
like,
attention to after like 30 seconds. So
yeah, and
any
that
part
went on
after the
for, like, a
first
good
30
5
seconds
minutes.
may or may not have been realistic.
Yeah, in the first time where Megan's like, I'm actually like a lesbian and I like
Tina
you.
was into it when she watched it as a teen.
Mhm.
Ring before spring is either a promise ring or engagement. Dating starts in the summer or fall. Engaged with. Oh, okay. So it's like, I was looking for this term, for a term like this, because I was talking to somebody about a whirlwind romance, but like whirlwind romances generally imply they don't stay together.
Yeah. Because the
And
whirlwind
so I was
eventually
like, I
ends.
need one that's more commitment. And like May to December was all I could think of. And I'm like, that has to do with
Shotgun
ages.
wedding.
No, that
No.
has to do with. So ring before spring. I may steal this now. All right.
Yeah,
So
it fits.
a part that stuck out to me is all of the very forced queer and gender coding, which I will go more into in a little bit. Because the movie, on the one hand, emphasizes that the gender coding and the gender norms are evil and terrible, but also largely pushes that queer coding is okay and normal. And there's only one example where they say that it's bad and slightly harmful, which, like I said, I want to get into with the talking point. But the other part that stuck out to me was step 5 when they're in their Adam and Eve.
Oh my
that is
god.
So... It's just
I just
no.
He's doing push-ups. I just love he's doing He's doing
No,
push-ups
okay.
and he's not even looking
I
at
will
her.
say
He's just
Joel was my hero at that part though, because Joel's like, but what about foreplay? I'm like,
foreplay doesn't exist.
but then Mary's like, foreplay doesn't matter. A real man gets in, unloads, gets out, and then Rock just stops and looks at his mom, and he's like, mother.
Rock I thought that was more embarrassment, but Rock at like when he first laid down on top of her,
And yeah.
His mom was being all creepy, like,
he was like
"Ma'am."
vibrating, like
I
he
know,
was
he
just
just wiggles.
like he was just wiggling, and I'm like,
This is a man not taking this seriously. He is aware the woman under him is not at all attracted to him. He's not attracted to her. He's not taking any of this seriously.
I just love that he's doing push-ups.
He's
Instead
a
of,
great character.
Yes.
he was fun.
I assume he is only there because he very strongly loves his mother and has a thing for Mike. Otherwise, he would be gone.
Mhm.
Because nothing about that man says, I'm trying.
Yeah, no, he's definitely like not in the like hasn't.
He
like,
says, I'm
completely
loud, I'm
lost it.
queer, I'm
Yeah.
here. How dare you make me chug my mimosa?
Like, you can pretend I'm not, but I still am.
A part that stuck out for me is the part we're gonna get to later. It was the fashion.
Hey.
Mine was like the like a dichotomy between like
Straight as hell.
the like let's do like funny music and stuff like that during the like testing like date like the gender role training.
That was very tonally conflicting to me because the reason it's got that happy fun music is because like Megan and Graham are batting.
No, I thought it was good. Like, this was like a good thing. But then they would flip around and like do like the punishment, like almost immediately. And they would like turn from like I can't think of an example. But I'm blinking. But they like there was an instance where they were like this montage of like funny stuff. I think it was during the montage of like where the sissy ran into the tree. And then right after that it got really dark.
Look, when somebody breaks an axe, that's the only appropriate thing. You just run away. I don't think that's the same part, but also this is a side note. They were tested by making them work on a car.
Yeah.
There's nothing they could have been doing under that car. There would be no elbow room. You would have none the room. I've been under a car. I've worked under a car before. You get one, maybe two people under their max. So
that's pushing it.
What, CB?
There were two under the car and one sitting next to the car.
And then Andre was sitting there posing.
Oh, yes. I thought it was two and then Andre.
No, it was Clayton, Joel, and then
I think there might have been only two.
Oh,
yeah, because
either way, their butts were like right next to each other.
Oh yeah, no, they were not doing anything, but anything car related.
It's like my roommates are mechanics. Trust me, I know. Like you got very minimal room down there, unless you jack that boy real high.
Look, the Pepto-Bismol pink, I don't know, sent me back to my childhood.
Yeah. I thought it was hilarious.
I
thought it was great. I love the set designs. They were fantastic.
No, the set design and colors were great. I'm just saying the Pepto-Bismol pink sent me back to every gendered party I went to.
I was just going to say.
That's horrible.
Right, Cody? We're like, yes, the 90s.
It is a boy blue.
I will say that at first when I saw the conversion therapy pamphlets, I was like, are they sending her to a trans camp? What's going on? Because I thought it was a...
Yeah.
And then they get there and everything's like, if I'm not mistaken, trans flag colors. So I'm just like, new directions. And then there's a step where they're like, let's talk about your gender identity. And I'm like, this could have been a different movie. This could have been
a whole different movie.
And we'll get to that in a CB's, what CB thought the movie
I had to defend the Pepto-Bismol pink to Savion because he's like, this isn't a realistic pink. And I'm like, sir, I went to gendered parties as a child. It's very true to life.
I've only seen it in like movies and stuff where they're like hella gendered, like with that pink. And then like, I don't know, it just like 90s movies is the only place where it exists for me. Like that.
Well, it's because you didn't go to gendered parties in the late 90s.
I did, in fact, not.
From the ovary that she resided in. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about some stuff that's a little things. So queer coding, harmful and beneficial. Again, I'm gonna provide a little bit of context for like so in movie history, there actually used to be queer media in black and white movies. And then the Hays Code came. And as part of the Hays Code, which I highly recommend anybody interested in queer history or queer media or movie, just check out the Hays Code. It's so like informative for the context of how movies have gone. And basically, you could only have queer characters if they died or if they were bad guys, which is why that's a really big problem now.
Yep.
And
burying your gays.
But queer creators have always found a way, and so they started making signals or signs or things that characters were queer. Having certain characters speak, like certain male characters speak more effeminately or stuff, or giving a female character a shorter hair coat and stuff. And this was just signals to send to the audience, hey, if you're queer and you're out there, this character is also queer. And like literally they'd have like secret pins and stuff. They're like found ways. So that's even why it's called queer coding, because they were literally sending codes that this happened. Yeah. This, however, has become a thing now to where if you don't follow certain things, then you're not considered queer enough, or you're not queer. Or if you do follow these things, you have to be queer. You're obviously queer. And the one
gatekeeping.
The one character that I related to so hard in this movie was Jan. Because Jan is actually straight. Jan is at the conversion therapy, but there's like a part in the movie where, you know, everybody's talking about their root, and Jan says, I like balls. That doesn't really lean itself to the queer coding of the movie, right?
Sam, they're trans. That's a trans boy.
I looked it up. Jan is a girl.
What?
Jan is...
I misinterpreted like the majority of the movie then, because I was okay, trans rap, like, because they said they wanted they wanted a dick.
Jan is a straight girl who fits some of the social constructed stereotypes of what society deems masculine. She is not butch because only lesbians can be butch, and claiming she is trans just because she doesn't adhere to female gender roles is misogynistic, according to this thing that I found.
I thought the entire that was...
I will say I don't agree with the claiming she's trans just because she doesn't adhere to gender roles is misogynistic. I don't agree with that statement. Just for everybody, I don't. I think if you want to read Jan as trans, then that is your thing. But I think because of one, when the movie was made, two, the conversation around it and everything, that I genuinely believe that Jen is just a straight girl who doesn't fit the gender norms.
Yeah, and I appreciate that now that I know it's fact. But when I was watching the movie, because at first I didn't realize that was a girl. And then one of the first lines around Jan, was her name?
Mm-hmm.
Around her name, or around her, was the homophobic lady being like, now you're a proper young lady, and then like Jen looking away, and I interpreted that as being like, I'm not a lady. Like, so that's the entire time I was like, that's what making them uncomfortable, not the fact that they are straight, they just present masculine. Okay.
Like I said, I related to Jan because especially like the part where they're like sitting and they're supposed to do proper posture, and Jan's just sitting there like with her legs spread, right? I'm like, I do that. I also had I'm actually like more effeminate or girly now that I'm older than I was in my teen years. I too was a very masculine leaning girl. So with like Jan's stuff, I very heavily related to Jan, and especially the part, and one of the reasons that I do think that Jan is a cis girl is because like I said, Jan's root is when she's like, I love balls. And Mary rewards that.
Yeah.
Because that's the girl's are supposed to like balls and stuff, right? And then there's a part where Jan tells Mike, like when she's like, I'm heterosexual. And Mike's like, no, you're not there yet. And Jan's like, no, I've never been gay. I'm heterosexual. He's like, I just want a really big wiener. To which Andre says, amen. And I'm like, okay, buddy.
Yeah,
I love
that
him.
scene when she said I'm heterosexual, I was like, okay, you're a boy who likes girls, all right. And then I like balls. I was like, something about balls, and I was like, all right,
She likes balls.
them. And then when she said I want a big dick or something like that, I think she was talking about having one, wanting to have.
She wants one.
No.
When he said amen, I thought he was misinterpreting.
Oh no, honey.
No. Mike see that's the other thing. Mike says, who is she trying to fool? Because she's so masculine.
Yeah.
So he's like, who is she trying to fool? Obviously she's a lesbian. Because like most like a lot of these kids are here because their family and everything confronted them for having gay leanings, or like it's that's one of the things where I'm like, it's kind of the only thing that doesn't go with the queer coding, but at the same time also semi reinforces it, because they don't. And I don't think we see Jan past that point, do we?
No. I have a lot of notes about that. I was like, where the fuck?
Yeah, so I think that so we don't see Jan past that point. But like up until that point, Jan has like been wearing pink and everything, and they would not in the late 90s, I don't think would send a trans kid to conversion therapy and let them present as their gender. I don't know how to word it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like if Jan were assigned female at birth, they would have Jan in pink things. If Jan was assigned male at birth, would be in
blue things.
Yeah.
They wouldn't allow Jan, if Jan was male to female, they wouldn't allow that to be like, oh no, you're a boy.
Yeah, conversion therapy. Okay, so I thought, I understand now, but when I was watching it, I thought it was a narrative about viewing, like, I thought it was like ignoring that trans people exist. Like, oh, you're assigned female at birth, you present very most considered masculine, therefore you are a lesbian, when in fact is a boy. Yeah, that's
like I said, the only reason I didn't read it that way was because Jan was in pink and did all the like.
Yeah, I thought they were like, oh, you're assigned female at birth, therefore you'll be with the girls, even though, and like, but Jan didn't realize, or like hadn't, either they did realize or like weren't out or stuff like that. Like everyone viewed Jan as a girl.
Well, I shall finish what I was saying about relating to Jan. So I related to that with Jan, right? And like I also kind of related to Megan a bit, because like they talked to Megan and Megan's like, oh, I have a boyfriend. I love my boyfriend. I've been with my boyfriend for 2 years. And they're like, oh, honey, no, you can't love your boyfriend. You're a lesbian. And then it really bugged me because they started talking about like, oh, but like you don't enjoy making out with him and stuff, right? And I'm like, yeah, because asexual is a thing.
Yeah.
Because the gray ace spectrum is also a thing. And yeah, it's also like she could have been bi or pan, right? She could have really genuinely liked her boyfriend. He just sucked at making out, so it wasn't fun.
Because he does.
And also she thinks the cheerleaders are hot. It's like, so.
Listen, I had a boyfriend who sucked at kissing. I did not want to kiss him.
But yeah, so with the queer coding, I feel like queer coding used to be beneficial and everything, and now it, depending on how you go about it, it can still be beneficial, but it can also be like very harmful, because it's like these are traits that anybody could have, really. Mm-hmm. They're just very commonly within this certain community, and it's like, but also how much of that is like media influence, how much of that is community influence?
Because like a good stipulation for that, like right now, is any straight guy in like musical theater.
Okay.
That's the best example.
I have a very like straight uncle who used to do drag, so.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're in musical theater, you're obviously gay. It's like, no, I'm not though. Also, again, if anybody wants to read Jan as trans, that's perfectly fine. Yes.
I was just speaking from, one, what the movie intended, and two, my relating to Jan.
If anyone is interested, rewatch the movie. I'm guessing you guys aren't because you. Anyways, if you're interested, rewatch the movie thinking Jan is trans.
I did
so much sense.
When I watched it, I was going back and forth because I'm like, I don't think they would in this movie, but if they did,
I was like,
I just thought she was
really
like
progressive of them.
Yeah, it's like that'd be really progressive of them in this movie.
I was like me, like mixing up not just.
Also, I would just like to point out when they're like 5, 6, 7, 8, God is good, God is great, God is ace. God does not have sexual leanings. God is asexual. So God's in the alphabet. But yes. The bi pan ace erasure. This one
I'm gonna go single real quick. I'll be right back.
And this is a thing in the movie, but I also think it's a thing in the movie because of the times and just like asexual wasn't really well known or out there at the time. Especially since, and I'm going to project here, you had a bunch of demisexuals like me who like read romance novels and stuff, and somebody's basically asexual until they meet the one, and then they're sexual. And like, that happened to me. So I'm like, yes, that must be how it works, right? No, there's a word for that. And otherwise, it's ace people stay ace unless they're grace. We lost CB again. But the bi/pan, like I said earlier, because I've been abandoned, in the context of the times, people who were bi might have flitted between using their homosexual label or heterosexual, just depending on who they were with or who they were more attracted to. But bi erasure was also still very much a thing here. Like, who was it? I think it was David Bowie. David Bowie in interviews, people would ask him, they're like, are you gay? And he'd be like, no, I've answered this question. I'm bisexual. And they're like, okay, but are you gay? And he'd be like, I'm bi. And they're like, but you've never really answered the question of if you were gay or not. Like, literally look up the interviews. That's what they would say. So, and that was
that conversation.
So that's.
Did CB get fired? And I missed it.
No, my house's internet is just going in and out.
Your house's internet says not in this house.
Gays in my house?
I don't care how many flags you have.
Not in my house.
All right. We're gonna go on to fashion choices. Sorry, did you want to comment on this?
I was frustrated by the movie. I was like, I wasn't frustrated. I was just like, used to it. And like I've had a lot of experiences where like what you were just mentioning with David Bowie. I relate to David Bowie. Where like I've had the conversation where in a group of people and they've been like, oh yes, us lesbians, and I've been like, not a lesbian. They're like, well, yeah, but you like girls. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, all right, so us lesbians. I'm like, no. Like it literally went on for like 5 minutes of them just not. They're like, just pretend to be, and I'm like, but you are, and I'm like, no, I am not.
I like men too.
I like everything.
I like everything. Fair, same.
Some days I wish. Most days.
So.
Listen,
I have a
days
theory
like
about you, Cody. I'll tell you my theory one day.
About me?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know there was a theory.
I have a theory. You're like the one person I have a theory about. Everybody else, I just accept what they tell me.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm excited.
Do you want me to tell the live?
Sure. I love knowing things I never do.
I have a theory that you're like, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it because I'm getting a migraine and it's doing that. I have a theory that you are either bi or pan, just heavily male leaning in your things. And my reason is your gay awakening was Haruka Tenno, which is a woman. And there are a couple other very, very butch lesbians that you drool over. And I'm like, 2 + 2. But also, I don't like to speculate about other people's. I just feel it's rude and disrespectful. It's just The way
I do like
you
masculine
rule over
women.
Haruka and other masculine women, I'm like, but Cody, is you part of my army? The Pan army.
It's honestly, realistically, and I've been questioning this, not gonna lie, for like the past 2 years. I've been going through my own journeys. It's very highly possible. At least semi-possible, because even I've had been like,
one of us. Because it's also like people in chat who don't. Yeah, people in chat who don't already know this, like bi and pan, it's not 50-50. There is a spectrum, and like, so you could. Because I've met like other bisexual people and stuff, they'll be like, I'm like 80% into women, 20% into men, and I'm like, valid, or the other way around. And then there's also
don't put numbers to it.
Huh?
Some people can't put numbers to it.
Yeah, some people can't. And then you have people who are like my one friend who's like, I only like men who are dandies and women who could crush me with their thighs. And I'm like, fair. A dandy, CB, because I see your confusion, is a very well-dressed, elegant man.
I've only heard that word before.
Very fashionable gentleman.
I love dandies, and I love dandy characters. They're some of my favorites. They're not exactly effeminate, because that's why I don't describe them as effeminate. Dandies really just kind of fulfill an archetype of like an old-fashioned gentleman who's kind of suave and everything, but not creepy.
Yeah.
If they're creepy, they're not a dandy. We throw them off the boat.
I think I'm sure that's about,
I also just think I like anyone who can crush my head with their thighs, so...
I like men in theory, but not in practice. It's fair.
I also feel that, I like to tell people my regrettable attraction to men.
I just don't understand not being attracted, like not like being determined by anything.
like
it's okay. I don't get it. Well, like I do, but I don't.
I have like my standards and my like thing of what I am attracted to is so tiny that I'm just like, you do you, boo boo. I don't know what mine is.
Mine is like, I don't understand like how it's just like, I understand if people are like, oh, I like blondes, like I like people who are tall, like I understand that mostly.
Yeah, the aesthetic leanings.
Yes, I don't understand like not liking like.
It's okay. It's a pan problem.
I've met two people who looked exactly the same, but in different fonts for different genders.
Different fonts?
No, like literally, they could be twins. But one identifies as male.
One was sans serif, the other was just serif.
They were the same person.
I get you. I do. All right.
I'm going through confusing.
Speaking of fashion, this is Cody's talking point. Cody, would you like to lead us?
The fashion in this movie can feel, I'm in the hot seat now.
Until I point the wrong way.
Because it will happen.
So your assistant's here. I'm checking which direction is which.
I know. I occasionally have to be like, which way am I going? This way.
You understand what I'm talking about, right, Tina?
Yes.
But, anywho, fashion choices. The fashion choices in this show, or in this movie, are so wild. There's a lot of latex.
I figured out the era, by the way.
Oh, what's the era?
The era is supposed to take place in the 90s. The reason that there's quite a bit of 50s-ish fashion is just because more conservative regions and stuff carry like over 50s fashion until like the late 2010s. And that was when it actually started falling out of fashion for conservatives to still use 20s, 50s fashion, unless you're into specifically 1950s fashion. Did I say 2050s?
You did.
You did.
I'm getting fashion from the future.
I wasn't going to correct you. I was just going to let you go.
Point is, 1950s fashion carried on through conservative communities until like the late 2010s. So, and now, if you're wearing 1950s fashions, you're probably just into that fashion in specific. All right, go on. I have to summon a child.
And like that's fine being in the 1950s fashion. That's cool. But there's so much latex.
Because it's the 90s, boo.
Like, I guess I was born in 94, so this would explain, but it's just like there's so much, and like when the lady is just There's short shorts everywhere.
They're fantastic.
Never a problem.
Now, I didn't say they were a problem.
I know.
I just said they're everywhere. They're like pigeons.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like how the lady was wearing during one of the cleaning montages. She's wearing a overcoat that is pink see-through plastic, like a dark pink see-through plastic, over top of her.
So I need a drink.
1950s dress.
Yeah,
it's like green. And I'm like, that is a choice of combinations of colors. Granted, I'm not a fashion person. Just throwing that out there right now. Most of my outfits are black and black and black. It was just like there's
pirate.
all of us are just like blacks.
Hey, I am a pirate.
I cannot show you what. I cannot show you to here down. There's just so many things, or like at the end when they're just like all the girls are just wearing latex dresses.
And see, I was about to say, like, I wear a lot of cat print, but that's not how we do it. So
like, the boys are in latex, like onesies that are short shorts. The girls
here's the thing, Cody. You're like, I knew from your thing that you didn't agree with a lot of these fashion choices, but it was previously stated this was 90s fashion. Yeah. This was my childhood brought back on screen, and as like I said, I was not. Even as a young child, I was not completely cut off from queer community influence or media. So this was all stuff I just saw. So I saw the mesh. The only thing was like, you're telling me this is a conversion therapy camp where they're not supposed to be gay. And those jerseys.
Yes, I was also going to mention the jerseys.
They all jerseys like they go to my college.
Which, to be clear, I want.
I know.
Maybe I'm not a latex person myself, though, so maybe a different material up here. But otherwise,
I was like, I kind of want.
I want that mesh jersey. So I was literally here. I was here for all the mesh. I was here for anything mildly sheer or see-through.
Yep.
But then I saw the latex, and I'm like, not my choice, but my childhood.
And it wasn't my childhood, so I guess that's why I'm like,
I thought it
was snazzy. Like, what is this wildness? And then Sam's over here like, but this is true to life.
No, it's like Sailor Moon. I'm like, no, I get it. I get the judgment. I get that it doesn't necessarily hold up under a modern microscope for reasons.
For me, it added more to like the weird vibes of the entire, like the dark comedy or whatever. Like the fact that
Cody, you know what we're missing out on? We're missing out on having seen this fashion from a Gen Z lens.
Oh.
Because she would have had no context for this fashion.
Like,
it's like 90s queer fashion like that. It's not even used. Like everybody references 80s fashion.
Yeah, no.
Nobody references 90s.
And I think that's why I did not know it, because everything I see is all 80s. Like, oh, I know 80s fashion all too well.
Also, the movie, I already said it's supposed to take place in the 90s. Just some Fox quotes for the night. You're feeling spicy tonight, making on-air theories about Cody when you don't like to do so. Putting him in the Sam spot. My damn, what happened? You said you'd murder me for putting anyone in the Sam spot. I said, that's you, not me. And he says, I refuse to acknowledge your black wardrobe anymore. You have red suddenly for some reason. Which, for context for that, I wore a red shirt during something. He's like, when did you own a red shirt? You don't own a red shirt. And I'm like, I have a couple red shirts. He called me a liar. I sent him a picture of 4 different red shirts I own. And he's like, what the fuck is this?
Betrayal.
Known me for 4 or 5 years, never seen me in a red shirt.
For the outfits for me, as our Gen Z representative.
Hold on real quick. We're going to do chat, and then you can have your turn. I feel you, but the opposite. I both do, but actually don't understand aesthetics being a turnoff. So I loved that outfit, though. The outfits are a part of why I find it so funny. Tina felt the outfits for part of the comedy, which may be why me and Cody missed out on that part.
Maybe, because
he was judging. I was just...
Sam was reliving. I was judging, but I still want that.
I was nostalgia. We found a nostalgia blind spot for me. It's very rare. All right, go on, Sibi.
All right, so yeah, I saw it as part of the comedy. Like the outfits were just like outrageous, and like in the context, one of you guys put it earlier, like they're trying to prevent them from being gay, but dressing them hella.
Rock did it on purpose. You're not telling me he wasn't doing it on purpose.
Oh yeah.
Also,
no,
the jerseys are crop tops,
definitely.
so
But like everyone else, like even they're like lingerie. Like they were wearing lingerie, and like
I will say I love 50s lingerie though. It's super cute.
yeah.
no, it looked hella
I know.
uncomfortable.
Okay.
But it was I don't know. I didn't have
go
a
ask
problem
Daddy
with it.
where
I
your
thought it
burger is.
definitely added to the
Go ask Daddy if he put your
altered
burger out.
reality feel of the entire movie.
Yeah, like this is an alien world.
Yeah, and then I spent like half of it staring at the main character's perm. I think it was a perm because I know she has like super curly hair. And I mean like your hair doesn't look like that. Like obviously it does, but I'm like this isn't how your hair's supposed to, because it was like in chunks throughout the movie where she would like bend and it would like pull off on her shoulder, and I'm like, oh, honey.
I don't think that's how hair's supposed to work.
90s was an era of the straight hair.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
For me, my hair did do that. I didn't know it was curly, and I straightened it like every single day.
Oh my god.
My hair has been like it was straight until I hit puberty, and then something about puberty made it wavy.
My
and now,
hair.
but for some reason, my bangs are very straight, and then the rest of my hair is wavy. We actually have 2 pictures of when CB and I were on stream. I had like pulled out my bangs, and they look very straight, and then I flipped all my hair over and put my headphones back on, and it's just
hair stem.
My hair is like I recently got my hair buzzed, and I think it's growing in more wavy, like especially my bangs. My bangs are really wavy. And then like the rest of my hair is pretty like straight until it hits a certain point, and then it starts to curl.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Michael does that.
Like I'm growing back out my mullet mohawk, and there's a good like in the back of my head is just ringlets.
Damn.
I love it.
Like it'll just form ringlets.
Yes, the Adam and Eve costumes were weird as hell. I do want to say that I wouldn't count that as the regular fashion, as that was very purposeful. I will say their heterosexual graduation with those latex suits.
Yeah,
that's why I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The Adam and Eve, when that first appeared, I was so unsurprised. Like
when I saw the Adam and Eve, I was like, that's a choice, and it was fine for a while because all I saw was the Adam, but then I saw the Eve standing there with a flower.
Yeah, with a flower, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like,
I know why, but
I know.
I also.
Oh yeah, Tina's also 94 baby. The 50s fashion too. Let me tell you, having spoken from experience. See, I didn't exactly hear what you said, CB, if they looked comfortable or uncomfortable, but baby doll 90s are hella comfy. No, baby doll 90s.
No, we're thinking of different things. I'm thinking of when they're doing like the salon stuff and they're wearing like the ribbed corsets.
Oh, those. Depending on the corset you get, corsets are comfortable.
Yeah. I have a corset vest and I find it very comfortable.
Yeah, corsets being uncomfortable is literally propaganda from a newspaper in, I want to say, the Victorian era, because they were trying to dissuade women from wearing like work corsets and stuff because some man was salty about something. Like, I'm not even kidding. You can look it up. It's widely known now. So
also, like,
I mean, they just
and a lot of like the actual like uncomfortable corsets were fashion corsets worn by like nobility and stuff who didn't have to do things, but like peasants and working women wore corsets for support, for back support, and like boob support, and they were hella comfortable. So they were more comfortable than a lot of modern bras, actually.
And like the fainting couch was just for a woman to be dramatic.
Which I love. Like, I need one.
Yeah, she's literally it's only there for the woman to be like, I'm so faint, because she can't breathe, but she can breathe. She just wants to be the
64 guy still wear. Look, I mean, I was gonna say same. I'm not quite at 64 yet, but like,
no, you're a little ways away. Like
you should still see my closet. Like, well, I have to get rid of half my wardrobe and rebuy. I gotta like rebuy all my fantasy clothes, guys. I'm so upset. Them grad
Make
outfits.
fancy clothes.
Hilarious choice. Yes. All right.
Also, Brock. Anything Brock is in is just delightful.
We will go ahead and do. PayPal has like a Pride logo, and it's a PP for PayPal. So every time I get a message from PayPal with the Pride logo, I'm like, what Pride LGBTQ thing did I sign up to? What's going on over there? And it's just PayPal telling me things, and I'm like,
What kind of capitalist propaganda is this?
okay. Well, like, I donate to the Trevor Project and a couple other things every now and then. So I was just like, is it time again? Do I need to do a thing? What's
Do I
up?
need to donate?
PayPal's like, your child spent money. And I'm like, this was an important. The fuck is that?
Apparently.
It's not what I expected you to be.
All right, my movie plot.
Yes.
So, as soon as, like, the van showed up for the conversion therapy, well, at first I thought they were going to kidnap her, and I was like, that's fucking awesome. But then I was like, wasn't that?
Nobody told me I signed up for a horror.
From the aesthetic of the van and then RuPaul and like just how like stupid the straight is great shirt and like he's wearing like tight shorts and stuff. From there,
shorts.
I thought that this movie, I didn't actually think it was, but I wanted it to be, where they go away to this conversion camp and they're like, okay, welcome. So you're all gay, right? And they're gonna be like, I'm not gay. And I'm like, you're gay. And I'll be like, okay, we're gay. Right? And that's like kind of similar. But then be like, I'm going to teach you how to pretend to be straight. Okay?
A closet camp.
And have straight lessons. Yeah. And like how you can express yourself, but hide it. But like,
that's one of those things that could have been really fun and campy then, but if anybody made it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But like all of the like gender lessons, imagine that from the lens of like them all knowing they're hella gay, but like this is how you do your gender.
I will say I had a lot of mixed feelings on the gender lessons because I'm like, I hate that they're gendered. I hate that they're going about it this way. But these are important life skills.
Yeah.
Everybody should know how to vacuum. So, like, I had very mixed feelings on that. I was like, if we were teaching everybody, or if this wasn't gendered, it would be so nice to know how to change your oil and how to vacuum. Let's just teach everybody to do it. So,
yeah.
Matter of fact, I have to get my oil changed soon, actually.
In my supposed plot, they were going to like do all these lessons, right? But one of the kids there, I don't know if they're going to be like a love interest or whatever, was going to be like freaking out, right? Like, because internalized homophobia. So they like let all the parents know, like, this is actually a gay camp, right? And so then like all the parents show up, or like the bad people, I don't know, homophobes. They show up and they're like, we've caught you. But when they show up, there's like this whole like reveal that what do you mean we're doing straight activities? And they're like, have to put on this like show for all the parents and all the homophobes that show up of the gays being straight.
All the girls put on their pearls really quick.
Yeah.
It's like running like montage, like when they find out and stuff like that. And
Andre takes off his pearls.
Yeah.
And so the kid with internalized homophobia was gonna like come back and be like, but and like all the parents were leaving like, don't lie. And then like be really mean to the kid, like we get you don't want to be here because like you're F slur and blah 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 blah, but like they're helping you here because you're broken, like that, an awful speech, right? And then the kid would be like, hell depressed by that, and they turn back and all the gays are like, we love you and accept you for who you are, that kind of thing. Let's go be gay and run off into the sunset. And that's what I wanted.
Yeah, well, that would have been fun and could have been campy. So I had a thought while you were saying that, and I was just really trying to hold on to the thought, and then I was like, I need to say something now. And then the thought flew away.
That's why I've learned to do this, where it's like, I want to say a thing, but I don't want to interrupt you.
I had already interrupted her twice. I was trying not to do it again. Oh, it's just Andre, because earlier I wanted to say I do love Andre's clubbing outfit. Like everybody else is dressed in like Alterna goth, which that was another thing I wanted to point out. According to the 90s, if you were dressed in goth or alternative fashion, you were queer. they're not entirely wrong.
I was gonna
but
say,
also you can have dressed in goth and
Yes.
alternative without being queer in the 90s.
It's like clunky earrings.
Except Andre. Andre was full on in like leopard print and his little short, his little boa. I loved him so much.
Yes, no,
I
he's
know, I was
definitely
like-
nice in the film.
Oh, Andre,
Oh, Andre.
the inspiration.
I think he tried. He could not. And I love the point where he's like, I just wasn't meant to be Butch.
I'm just a sissy.
And then the other guy, or Joel's all like, you're like, you're great who you are. You're like this and this
So
and
nice
that
and
and
smart
sexy
and
and this.
handsome. He's
Yeah.
like,
I don't need to hear from a gay who just proved that he's straight how sexy my ass is.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed this line.
like,
I
I don't
love
need your
him.
validation. I was like, yeah.
See? That would have been a good movie. Again, though, that's one of those movies where there was a time when it could have been made and it would have been fine, but if you
Yeah.
make it now.
Ugh.
My avatar name isn't my real name.
They're talking about names.
Yes. That's unrelated to our
Mhm.
thing. So let's go into the ending.
I have feelings. Can I share those feelings?
Yes.
Yeah.
This
Awesome. So,
is your plot point.
the ending. What the fuck? Okay, there was this big leap.
She said, "I have notes." That was the note.
It's kind of a note. Okay, so there's this big build up, like whatever, they like run in, like, okay, like we love it that the gays gay versus lesbian, the gays get together and they're like making out by a tree. Like she goes in and she tries, and I just need the names for this. I'm gonna give them code names. So
There's
Megan
Dolph,
and
Graham. That's the
Graham.
girls. And then
Right.
Dolph and Clayton were the boys.
Dolph and Clayton are making out in a tree at this point. I'm okay with it up to that.
Yeah, making out the same way that the straight guy was making out. Also the way that Rock made it. I just think this movie is trying to tell me that men don't know how to make out without eating your whole ass face, which is not true.
We're saying
But-
teenagers don't know how to make out. Also, these
Gays
teenagers
kind of.
probably don't have much experience because they're gay. And they
No, that's fine. Look, I'm just saying the girls in the movie don't eat each other's whole ass faces when they're also inexperienced. I'm just saying that
I've had
the
plenty of
director was
experience.
trying to
making
say something about how men make out. I feel.
I can kind of,
Anyway.
I can agree with like half of it. I've had plenty of this experience where I'm like, my face is getting
I
eaten
have
right
also had experience making out with men, Cody, and it was not ever that terrible.
mine,
Lucky you.
I have been
Teenager.
that
Oh,
terrible.
now. Oh, any
It
point in
was
my life.
that terrible. It's not fun.
Sometimes.
I did the whole like looking off into space, being like, I don't want to be here. I wasn't imagining naked women because I thought I was straight or scantily clad women because I thought I was straight at the time. But yeah, it was not a pleasant experience. Anyways, my plot or my ending problems. We already did my plot. Ending problems. So, right, they run in, like pulls Graham down. I have no idea how no one noticed the bright pink dress being pulled down.
I
but
have a
whatever.
note on that. I was like, yes, pulling her out of the. That's not suspicious.
I
at
know,
all.
right?
Also, like the army crawl across the field, like
That's one of my all right, Cadet Kelly notes.
Yeah, it's just like, this
Um,
is like in the open field, okay.
yeah. And so then just like having the conversation, I feel like there should have been something more there. Like I didn't get the emotional, like I can't like I need to like go because like I feel like Graham never talked or had any sort of establishment with Megan that like I need to do this because of like my life and like family and like my future. I feel like that wasn't there needed to be
I
more
feel-
emphasis on that in the climax of the movie. Like it was in the build up a
Going-
bunch.
Yeah, going off of what you said, I feel like they built up the character arc and then either because of budget reasons, runtime reasons, or something, weren't able to do the resolution justice.
Yeah.
Right, that they were looking to do.
And that moves us forward a little bit. And so I love the changing to the cheerleader outfit. Like I like that. The fact that it was like drop pom-poms, like you see the different shoes, like that good shots there. Runs back, and that's where I draw issue. Not with what's happening, but with the portrayal of what's happening. Like music, like the shots, the pacing, that kind of stuff was not building this up to a climax of a movie. Like this was supposed to be like a really like you wanted, like it calls back to earlier. It's like I want to see you cheer. Like
this was the triumphant ending. Like this is the finale.
Yeah, I'm like calling back to our previous relationship and like trying to get you to come with me, that kind of stuff. Like whether it wasn't enough like actual close-ups, like yeah, great, we know that what her arms are doing, but like what is the emotions of her? What are the emotions of Graham? We're not getting that. How are the other people in the audience reacting? Like we're not getting any of that. We're just getting like, and then turns around and leaves.
Yeah, from the film standpoint, the climax was Graham getting to her, not the cheer.
Yeah.
That I placed the climax a little earlier because that was so last minute for me. That was like,
I will say that like one of my notes on the ending is just I'm glad that Graham enjoyed it and that Graham thought it was really heartwarming, because when like people do those grand public gestures or those like things, I am very much, some people love them. Some people adore them. I'm one of those people. I'm like, yeah, I would love a very public declaration and all of that. That's great. I know quite a few people who hate them because like of social anxiety or just because they don't want the attention on them and everything. And it's like, this is a situation where Graham has been very much trying to hide certain things and trying to like not. So being like the center of attention here could very quickly snowball into hell. So I was very glad that Graham ended up being like, oh, no, yes, this is fine. It also, one of the things I really enjoyed was when Dolph was talking to her, right? When she and Dolph reunite and they're like talking, I think he gives some really great advice. He gives some really solid, like real world advice that can be applied. And one of the things is when Megan's talking to him about like, oh, hey, it was like, well, I just miss her or everything. Why didn't she come with me? And he's like, she's probably just scared. She's probably really scared. And he's like, and you know, maybe she's making a big, or it's like, maybe she's making a big mistake, but it's her mistake to make regardless, right?
Yeah.
Like, we can't make that decision for her, basically. And then she's like, well, what about you? What about your man? And he's like, well, basically, my man's a piece of shit. He don't want to stand up for me. I don't need him.
Right.
But then she's like, okay, but what are you willing to do? And then it like cuts out, and then those two basically go get their lovers again. And I'm like, but this is spitting in the face of the advice that he just gave her.
Yeah.
Because like it still has to be a two-way street. Like you still can't make that decision. But I do enjoy how Clayton's just like, that's my man, and he's just gone. You don't need nothing else. He's like, oh, we have a house we can go to. Let's go, boo-boo.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I wish there was one more like emotional beat within there, like a mini scene.
Yeah.
After the cheer, if Graham didn't go immediately, if there was Megan leaving, like being chased out by the homophobic lady or whatever, and like leaving a pom-pom behind or something like that. Like literally something there. And then we see like Graham walk over and pick it up and like make that decision. We didn't see Graham make that decision. We just see the results of that decision, which is Graham running over. We didn't actually see Graham's decision, which I would have placed the climax of the movie right there. Like that's the turning point, which leads to resolution was making out in the back of a car. But when they run over, then it would be like Graham running over with the pom-pom or whatever and like handing it over. And there doesn't need to be dialogue. There could be dialogue, but like handing it over and then like a big smile pulls up and back of the car. It just like was missing that Graham
emotional tension.
Yeah, Graham's part of it wasn't.
By the way, chat, you can give us your thoughts on the ending and everything. We welcome your thoughts and comments.
Because like I think that's also like one reason I didn't like the ending for the very similar reason. It felt
I said, we got to the ending, and I was just like, well, time for Sam's brain to disengage and enjoy her fairy tale.
Yeah, it was just like, it seemed very
I felt the ending was very wish fulfillment, which I agree with you, CB, after, like hearing your thoughts and everything, that they could have just adding even half a scene could have made the climax and the ending more emotionally satisfying, and still ended up with the exact same results. So
yeah,
I just
Like,
for me when I
beat.
was when I was watching it, I just turned on Fairy Tale Sam. Fairy Tale Sam has very different standards for things.
See,
Or like even if it was
gay CB and film student CB were in a fist fight this entire fucking movie. Like there was blood was spilled, and then there was like, you know, feminist CB, and they're like, I have opinions. They're like, not yet.
You're not allowed opinions. This was before our time.
We'll work through our things, and then we can maybe listen to you.
yeah.
I don't remember clearly enough to have solid details, but I remember finding the cheer heartwarming. Yeah, I have the cheer. Hold on. I will.
Stupid, but it was cute.
It's adorable.
Oh yeah, it's
one of those things where it could be defined as cheesy or cringy, but Sam just thinks it's cute, so it's lovable. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. I won't take no anymore. Which at first I heard that and I was like, "Girl, no, that line." But we're gonna keep going. 5, 6, 7, 8. I want you to be my mate.
I was like,
we're still good. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Teresa,
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're the one that I adore. Okay, we're making a recovery. This was my thinking as it happened. 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't run from me because this is fate. And I'm like,
okay, I'm back.
You're so dumb, but you're so cute.
This is fate.
This is fate, bitch. I like that the parents end up attending meetings to try to overcome the fact that their daughter is a lesbian.
Yes.
I like that they went to a support group to try to learn to accept.
I don't like the phrasing. Overcome the fact that their daughter.
So I tried to fix the phrasing, but it's fine. I understand the sentiment, and I agree.
Yeah,
it was a nice bonus scene.
Yes, like some of us who grew up in eras with different phrasing, we don't always speak modern. We don't always speak modern politics correctly, but we try.
Okay, as long as you're open to correction. I'm listening.
Never. You're not allowed to correct me on anything.
Fight me, Sam.
Did you say bite me or fight me? I'll do one of those. I won't do the other, and I'll let you question which is which.
Fight.
I'm just here.
So yeah.
Okay, so some trivia. I gotta put my trivia.
Oh, I thought you were gonna test us at first. I was like, fuck.
Did you study? No. Some trivia about the movie.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me. I'm trying to find the non-cast related trivia because I don't know any of these people.
I only know Natasha Lyonne.
I recognize like
burping.
Half of them.
All right, so
he wasn't alive when this movie was made, but I'm like, I recognize you. I recognize you. I recognize you. I recognize you.
I heard Natasha Lyonne's voice, and I was like, I recognize this voice. Google's.
Same.
The film was first released by Universal on DVD. Then Lionsgate film producers reissued it on DVD themselves 4 years later after purchasing Artisan Entertainment in their home video thing. Now, completely different titles. These are what the film is called in other countries. In Finland, it is I Am a Decent Girl. In Hungary, it is Save the Pom Pom Girl.
This is getting better.
In Italy, it's Girls at the Crossroads. Which fair.
Okay, I like that one.
Poland, it's Cheerleader, which I'm like, short, to the point. All right. In Taiwan, it's Model Student, which also I feel like works very well culturally. So
yes, culturally.
I don't know. Girls at the Crossroads is kind of my favorite.
It's right. I'm like, I like that one. I like the "But I'm a Cheerleader" only because she says it at some point, and that provides the context for the title.
That's the thing I want to mention. I've seen that clip before. Her realizing she's gay. Like, I'm a homosexual. I've seen that clip. So like when the movie started, I was like having deja vu. And then the scene, I was like, it's this fucking movie? This is where the scene's from?
All right. So saying come to terms with their daughters, it is and it isn't. So it's phrasing it that way or saying it's more the overcome the fact because it puts it implies that her being a lesbian is a problem, whereas it's them accepting that their daughter is not the way they thought she would be is the actual thing for them to overcome. They have to overcome their preconceived expectations of their daughter's identity, not her sexuality. So that's why it's politically incorrect now.
The more you know.
Yes.
The more you know.
And I am at least willing to answer any and all questions about political correctness with this as I can, or to my current understanding. Because, like I said, I grew up in the 90s, and there were a lot of things that we said or did that was politically correct then, but isn't anymore for different reasons, because everything evolves.
Yes.
All right, there was a deleted role. The girl in the video described got her own place in the casting clips at the end of the movie, but of course was cut from the main movie. There's a deleted scene where Megan was watching a Scare 'em Straight video of a girl tearfully reciting what lesbian drove her to, and a shorter one of Megan playing the song she wrote for the others in front of a campfire. And in that deleted scene, the deleted role is the girl from that deleted scene. And then, of course, the executive meddling. They had to cut any mention of women going down on another woman to avoid the NC-17 rating. She also had to cut a shot that depicted Megan masturbating.
Was that cut?
See, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, wait, I'm pretty sure I saw that scene. Was there another
I was
one?
going to say, wait a second, that does sound very familiar.
That was very, you know what's going on. Like, yeah.
Also, can we Sinead felt like she enjoyed being electrocuted.
I was just thinking that. I was like, wait a second.
Her production was I'm Sinead and I like pain.
Oh, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then I'm like, she's just masturbating the entire time, right?
Oh, yeah,
like, her version of it.
Yeah, I think.
Ma'am.
Well, the scene that was cut was Megan, not Sinead, masturbating.
Yeah.
But I still feel like we saw, or at least it was implied well enough.
It was heavily implied.
And the movie,
you would see it as.
So the movie initially had a $500,000 budget that was increased to $1 million by production, but that's still a small budget for a movie.
Right.
Playing against type, right? The most famous drag queen, RuPaul, appears not only as a man, but also as an ex-gay counselor. Richard Mole, who normally plays very scary dudes, is a gruff but lovable burly bear. That's Lloyd. And then Natasha Lyonne, queen of deadpan snark, plays a sunny and naive cheerleader.
I love Natasha. I heard the voice. I was
Doesn't
like,
she take the electrocution thing? Well, yeah. So it's evasion therapy, and what they're supposed to do is every time they have an impure thought, they're supposed to shock themselves so that they associate pain with the impure thought. But the noises that Sinead made, and she had she had Graham's sock for some reason.
Yeah, like she's like under.
So there's a lot of implications that she may have been quite a bit masochistic.
Light shining like towards the middle-ish of the bed.
Yeah, and the introduction was hi, I'm Sinead and I like pain.
Yeah. See, this is the scene of what I was thinking.
Yeah, heavily.
Like right before.
Yeah.
I kept expecting her to use the shocky thing
as on hers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did too.
She was holding it and she was going at it. And I was like,
look, I too would not be able to bring myself to shock me for anything. So RuPaul, queer character, queer actor, RuPaul, Charles, and Claire Duvall are the only actors in the cast that are on the LGBTQ spectrum. Queer show Ghetto remains a downplayed, acclaimed flop. Queer viewers love it, but many critics didn't, and it bombed when it first came out. It's still an obscure film today.
Yeah.
You know what would have made it better? If they had the fucking emotional beat at the end. Anyways.
So Rosario Dawson was originally considered, but never asked for the main character. Rosario Dawson was a very popular actress. She played Persephone in the Percy Jackson movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which most Percy Jackson fans forgive because they're like, but it's Rosario Dawson. And I'm like, but Persephone wasn't in the book. I know it's one of those moments where I gotta quote CV. I know that, she's hot, but that doesn't mean she's right.
I'm so happy I added that quote.
Thank you. It was, I'm pretty sure, reference to Wanda Maximoff.
You were
Maybe.
yelling at Blake about something.
Yeah, that's why I'm
Yeah.
guessing Wanda Maximoff, because it's Blake.
I think it was Wanda.
Another trivia thing is, like Cody said, the song that Rock is dancing to is Party Train by RuPaul.
I was listening, like, I know this song. I have this song on my playlist.
The day before the shoot, Natasha Lyonne, Megan, had gotten drunk and was tattooed on her back shoulder at a shop on Hollywood Boulevard. The director was very upset because she had to film scenes in a sports bra during cheer routines. The director said to her, "How could you do this?" Natasha responded, "I don't know what."
That sounds pretty accurate.
She's also Ashoka, and she was in Daredevil.
She's Ahsoka? I love Ahsoka.
Who was she in Daredevil? Was she? Never mind.
Graham's tattoo is the Chinese character for Star. I'm just looking at a list of trivia and seeing things. Yes, we know RuPaul was an icon even before Drag Race. We don't need that one.
Yep. Star Booty, so much.
Despite mixed reviews and limited distribution, But I'm a Cheerleader has endured among the LGBTQI+ community due to its fervent rejection of heteronormity and its celebration of queerness in each stage of production, in the storyline, the aesthetics, the crew, and cast. Which, I mean, we watched it for this, so it has endured.
Yeah, it did. That do be true.
And for anybody who's into dark comedy and doesn't have specific trauma things, probably agree.
Representation.
I was like, yeah, for a very specific type of person, that's not me or CB.
Yep.
Oh, because we got into the discussion about something else earlier. One of the things with like queer coding is from the time I was 9 until I was 22, several people, family members and non-family members, tried to convince me I was a lesbian. By the time I was 22, I was married with a kid, but they refused to believe me when I said that I like guys. Now, granted, in my mid-20s, I figured out that I'm pan, but still not a lesbian. And it really, really bothered me that people were trying to convince me that I was a lesbian when I very much loved my husband and had at least one child at that point. I don't remember when I had my second one. I have got the brain fog.
Yeah, I hate stuff like that personally.
Yeah, that's why I have always hated queer coding, but I'm like, the Hays Code, Sam, the Hays Code.
Because it's like
gotta remind myself why it's a thing.
It's very much like the stereotypes, quote unquote.
Yeah, poor Cody messaged me. He didn't like most of the gay characters in the movie because he felt they were. But I'm like, I mean, not necessarily unfortunately, but like I've known queer people like every single one of those characters. So I just found it true to life. But
I did too. Still don't mean I like them.
Yeah.
He's like, still nope.
Yeah. Although the only one I kind of I was like the only one I kind of liked was Joel. But like the only reason why I like Joel is because he's Jewish and my family's Jewish, so like I understand why he's there. Because Jews do not like the gays. Oh, well, they're Orthodox.
Yeah.
Let us not make overly generalized statements.
Yeah.
But in your experience.
In my experience.
Yes.
In the information I have.
RuPaul later worked with this director again on Girl Boss. Maybe we will add that to our list.
Girl Boss? Why do I feel like I've heard of this?
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Did it come out recently? Within the last 10 years?
Oh, there was a year, but I didn't read it. Girl Boss, RuPaul.
I think we're all Googling things now.
I'm not Googling anything.
He's like, I don't care. I sent y'all to do this. 2017.
I think I've seen it then.
Depends on your definition of recent.
This is the last 10 years. I know it's less than 10 years, but I didn't want to limit it to 5 years.
And that works. It says, Chris says she was the night nurse.
I think I know.
No, I don't want to watch it. I just wanted to see a description. I'm busy, Netflix. Thank you.
Sure? Are you sure you're busy, Cody?
I might stream.
What are you doing?
I was trying to look up Girl Boss so I could like see a description of it, and then Netflix is like, "You want to watch it?" Like, no, I don't want to watch it right now.
you want to watch it right now, Cody? Let's go.
Yeah, it was like, we're starting episode 1. Like, no, back out.
The first part of this stream was discussing, but I'm a cheerleader. The second part, girl boss, live viewing.
Live viewing of Girl Boss.
Right.
Season
So,
1.
chat, was there anything that y'all wanted to talk about? Any like scenes or points or topics?
The entire
characters?
movie, I wanted Graham to wash her hair.
I also feel that.
It was like slicked down and like in chunks on her.
I grew up with far too many people who overly hair gelled their hair for.
I know it was a
I
style,
understood it, but it's
but
still
that doesn't
just
make
like,
it okay.
No, I'm just saying for it to bother me. Like it's
Yeah.
so normalized in my conscience. I was like, what?
My
I had
brain
to
was
think
just like,
very hard.
"Hey,
And I'm
your
like,
hair's so greasy,
it
ma'am.
was
Wash your head."
greased down.
I was like, is this like, I don't know, it just bothered me. Like, I understand that was a thing.
Michael, come here, dude.
I don't know what's going on over there.
Come here, my dude.
He's telling the children to start their movie. But Michael's like, I already started it.
You Spirited Away again.
What now, Dad? I don't know. What are you watching, Michael? They're watching Home.
Aw.
They watched Spirited Away 2 nights ago, though.
Spirited Away. I like Spirited Away.
Every night that I put them to bed, they make me watch a new Ghibli movie.
As
We're
a new
almost-
or a different one.
New to them, definitely. Sometimes new to me.
Okay, I was gonna say. Hold on.
Last night we watched Whisper of the Heart, which I think has the cat from The Cat Returns. I've never seen The Cat Returns, but he looks like the same person. Same cat.
I have seen The Cat Returns. Also seen Grave of the
Is the
Firefly.
cat named the Baron?
Yes.
It's the same cat.
It's like I wouldn't doubt it.
Is he trying to find his love interest named Luis?
I think so.
Yeah, it's the same cat.
I really think, from what I remember, I could be becoming biased because I'm hearing it in my brain hole from you, but probably.
That's fair.
Well,
Well, in Whisper of the Hat, the Baron is just this little statue, and he's like the main character is writing a novel, and he's her main character, and he's trying to find his love interest Luis. But I know The Cat Returns is actually a movie about that cat character, like
Yeah.
because the front cover, the front cover art looks like the Baron. So I was semi hoping that The Cat Returns is her book.
It might be.
I
Who knows?
will report back when I know, because I have a feeling that's the next one the children are going to make me watch. This movie brings back good memories for me of watching it in my high school GSA and laughing so hard I nearly cried. I'm glad it brought you to cry tears.
I'm glad it brought you joy.
girl. That was to my cat.
It too took me back to memories, not so fond memories.
I really like the joke where the homophobic lady was like, and then you push it in gently and you pops back and forth. And
There
they're all
were
like,
so many innuendos in this.
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
So many.
Like, there were some parts that were really funny. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I definitely saw why it was a comedy, just not a
Yeah.
rom-com. But it also, like, the romance in it is integral to the plot. You can't really have the plot without the romance. So,
mhm.
but I totally why it's not everyone's cup of tea. Totally get why it's not everyone's cup of tea. Yeah. This
feel
just
like if I
reminds
went
me
in-
of when I watched Silence of the Lambs, and chat was like, "Oh, you're gonna love it," and I'm like, "So."
I feel like if I had a warning and if I knew what I was walking into, I would feel completely different.
My cat just tore up my leg.
I'm sorry.
I'm okay.
Like-
I'm not okay.
Like I said, thankfully, thanks to my many years of media and media history, within the first 10 minutes, I rewrote my own expectations. But
I do not have this.
yeah, I can see.
I do not have this. I wish I did because it's like, if I got like a single warning, I'd
Like
be like,
I
okay,
said,
cool.
I
Curve.
woke up this morning to a message from you about something, which I responded to, and then a message, a very concerned sounding message from CB on Snapchat. And then I was like, oh God, I haven't watched it yet, but my concern.
I was like tired. I had to wake up early because I had a
And
dentist
then-
appointment. And I
then
was like, okay,
Phoebe's
just like
only
relax today
comment
and
after
watch the movie.
her only comment after that was, "I have finished it, and I will save all of my thoughts for the stream." And that's never a good thing
No.
when I get that message from her.
No, I
Yeah.
sent you I told you about my mug that held hot tea for like 3 hours.
Oh, that's right. And I was like, "Holy shit!" But like, I was typing like this,
And it
so
said hold
it said
shit.
"hold shit."
And I was very confused. So I let it sit for a hot minute. I'm like, maybe she'll catch it. And then everybody's like, she's
No,
like catching it.
I was
Okay, let
already
me-
gone. I was
Yeah, like, let me double check what she meant. I'm like, I am confused.
My cat has
enough. You're hurting my head. Upstairs now.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh.
Because like the funny part was I forgot I sent that to you. And I get notifications I'm watch because I'm at work. And my phone's on silent on my desk. So I just see a message from you that says hold shit. I'm like, what did I send you to have that as a response? Wait a second. Like, what? Hold
I would
on.
have put it in the fridge by that point. Sorry.
Yeah, like, I need to.
All right. Well, I
My hair
think.
goes poof.
Did I? Oh shit! Where was it? The Mur film comedy. So we got to have a funny one. Let me go make a note of that.
Oh man, the comedy outbeat everyone.
Comedy.
Ditto underworld.
I also like that I got fired and I ended up right in the exact same spot.
Because CB's internet fired her.
I know the internet was like, nah, we got to make this right.
Vengeance. Can
Yeah.
we appreciate how poofy my hair is right now?
Your hair is very poofy and I love it.
Yes.
I went
Yep,
into a job interview today and I got a compliment on it by a random guy that worked there, not the interviewer. I was the interviewee.
Yeah, I sure the fuck did not
That poor
make my
interviewer.
mermaid list. Yeah. But Splash is definitely going to be one of the options now. Cody, my
Yes.
fellow 90s Disney baby. I said Splash is going to be an
I
option.
know a bit. I don't know.
Have I seen?
Or no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking 13th year.
Oh, 13th year?
There we go. That was my bad. I said the wrong name.
I was very confused. I was about to Google Splash.
Splash is older. it's also a mermaid film, but I was.
Oh my god, you're unlocking so many
Phoebe, the
memories.
13th year is about a boy who hits puberty and discovers he's a
Mermaid. Yeah, he's a mermaid. At his 13th birthday.
There are movies about boy mermaids?
CB's like, hold up. This is the.
Okay, do you know how much mermaid stuff I have seen? All of it. Like, not all of it, but like a lot.
I was about to say, I promise I got a list of ones you
I
have.
have a mermaid phase.
I mean,
I own a tail from this mermaid phase.
you need a proof for Mer Story. I'm just saying.
Yes, I know.
Oh, and you know what? I'm not gonna say anything. So it's not a spoiler, but it's just a funny thing. He's on a swim team.
Oh, for the movie, I was like,
Yeah, so it's very poetic.
Yes, CV. What about Aquaman?
Where's his fucking tail?
I was about to say his legs are double fins, but then I'm like, no, those are pants.
Integral.
Those are pants.
This is fair. If that is how you're classifying a mer person, that they have to have a tail.
In the context of my obsession as a child, yes. I did get multiple like mermaid books about like the scary mermaids, and I was like, these are so cool.
So
I was like wrong genre.
This is the last thing that I'm gonna say, and then we're gonna go ahead and close up because our discussion of the movie as a whole seems to have wrapped up. Which final statements for that is that I, like I said, think that it's a good movie for like educational purposes and really does continue to validate what I say about queer media in the 90s and how a bunch of this shit that came out in the 2010s is not as groundbreaking as everybody wants to think it is. She-Ra.
But Sam, it's so groundbreaking.
No, I will fight people. But anyway, but it's still
You'll
good.
suplex people in the butt.
It's a good movie. It was made very well. The representation in it, and I think the way that it portrays things is great and everything. I cannot genuinely say that it is a lighthearted film because I think if you're going to recommend it to anybody, you should definitely warn them it is about conversion therapy, because conversion therapy is still alive and well today, and we're still fighting against it. So I do think that before recommending it to people, warn them about that.
Yeah, trigger warnings are
just a little bit of a heads up will have been appreciated. I know I probably could have read the movie synopsis, but I don't do that anymore. I don't read synopses. They give too much shit away.
And also because the cover gives nothing away. And like I said, I thought it was a fun high school jaunt. It was not.
Let me tell you, if you look at her face on the cover, you know it's not. But if you're not looking at her facial expression. Also, CB Shape of Water.
Isn't that the monster fucker movie?
Yes.
Yes.
But it's about a merman.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Yes, he's the merman. CB only wants happy, upbeat movies about folk. All right,
but
hold on. What I was gonna say is
I do.
So what I was gonna say is I was like, I wanted more horror movies about mermaids because like mermaids are monsters and they're horror monsters, and so I wanted that, and I discovered that, which I felt so stupid after I discovered this, but there's a lot of Scandinavian movies where mermaids are the horror monsters, and I'm like, well, of course, because it's a Scandinavian myth. Like, I felt so dumb. I was like, I should have known. So there was that.
It's okay if I'm like, I want to consume mermaid media, like I want some like Barbie level shit, like H2O vibes, you know? Like that, I want to feel like a child.
She's the opposite of me. She does not want to consume mermaids as a monster. She wants to consume mermaids as a fairy tale.
Then I'm okay if mermaids are within the monsters. But if I'm looking for mermaids, then I want mermaids.
See, I'm with Sam on this one. The moment he said Scandinavian, I was like, oh, give me some titles, please.
Yeah, right. That's cool. But like, I would be in a different mood. Looking for monsters, then mermaids would fall in that category. But looking for mermaids, then I want happy-go-lucky stuff.
I mean, that's fair.
I mean, they can have tension, like, I don't know, H2O.
Tension's very different than what I was
keep going back to H2O.
Yeah.
It's very formative for me. I'm pretty sure I had a crush on Ricky. Anyway.
You read all that glitters. You
yeah, and it was cool.
That's what I want in my mermaids. My merfolk. All right.
Listen, not gonna lie, Eric.
Sorry, the timing of you doing that as I moved you down was
Yep.
All right. So go ahead and do your outro so Cody and I can teach you Milo Note.
Hello, bye. Goodbye. I'm CB. I'm a teenager for the next 6 months and then I'm done. Film student as heavily portrayed.
Don't remind him.
As heavily portrayed by this. Let's talk. I'm also a film student and not straight. Yeah, I make content. Content will start being produced again, but in the meantime, you should check out my videos and stuff. Link down below. Boom, Cody's turn.
CB will also be in our quarterly party at the end of the month, fighting her longtime rival.
Yeah.
Will she be able to wrestle the championship title from him, which is not on the line because it's not the holiday bash, but that's not the point.
That's not the point.
For honor and glory.
And bragging rights.
And bragging rights.
Hello, hi everybody. My name is Chat Y. Because Chat Y.
Oh, wait. We never. I won't make CB redo the intro, but Chat, why? Chat.
At the beginning, we did.
No, yeah, but they didn't give me their answers. Chat, why? Did you do this to me?
That's why I kept it Chat Y, just in case.
Yes.
Just in case.
Cody's the real superhero here.
Fox
said you're teaching her. What am I teaching her?
Milo Note.
Oh, yes.
Milo
I'm
Note.
teaching her Milo Note.
I have an outline, kinda, in progress of a story, and it's on Google Docs.
Oh, honey, we will move that right over.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Cody.
Anywho, my name is Chat
We'll
Y.
wait for Chat to tell us why.
Chat Y. But it was Cody Keller. I'm a gay creator. I like to make gay shit. Straight people had to go for too long. I am currently going through a little bit of a rebranding just because I'm making more than just gay books. I can make gay everything. Chat Y. Warn people. Because I feel like I have a different perception of this book.
Fair.
I'm so betrayed by chat.
I will say this. Sailor Twilight may have voted on every movie I didn't enjoy or didn't like, but Sailor Twilight also comes to every chat.
Yeah.
Support it. So we love you and we appreciate you.
Listen, Sailor Twilight's just there. She's like, listen, if my movie wins, I'm there. If it doesn't win, I'm still there. Follow me down below where I just pretty much figure out what I'm doing, and then who knows what happens in the future.
I'm sorry,
Where's
Cody.
my glitter? No, that'd be a bad idea.
And I'm Writing Mom Samantha on Nasset. This is my channel where I talk about writer things, parent things, and writer parent things, and I allow chat to do things to me. On Mondays with streams such as this. Our next one is we're going to have a productivity chat next week, which I will be honest, may just be me playing Breath of the Wild while hosting sprints, because the Worldwide Writeathon is this weekend,
And I'll probably be dead. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I may die. Who knows?
We
But
both may be dead.
I will also be getting a lot of work done over the weekend, so I might just need a break on Monday, but we'll see. Either way, I will be here Monday hosting sprints for everybody else with Cody and Savion, who...
I will be here.
Savion, you started watching the movie after you saw my note about a disgusting kiss. I feel like you half did this to
You
yourself.
walked into
you walked into this.
You have
When
no one to blame except yourself.
Now, when I do post content, again, it will be on Thursdays. And if you would like to read a sample of my writing, you can go to my website, samanthaelnasset.com, where I have a spooky flash fiction up. And if you would like to be among the first to read All That Glitters, subscribe to my newsletter. It should be going out with the June letter. Because I'm just waiting on one or two more people to send me proofs. And then it's going to Fox, and he's putting it up on the site.
Woo!
I cannot stop burping while I'm trying to do my outro. And if you would like to support the channel and whatnot, you can like this stream, subscribe, ring-a-ding that bell, and if you would like to help my relaxation fund / get my child to leave my copy of the game alone, you can donate to the Ko-fi down below.
Get that money.
Get Sam money.
And thank you all for coming. I know that I bully you a little bit about the movie choice, but I do genuinely enjoy watching all kinds of movies and being able to discuss them. So I do not regret it, and I did think it was a really good movie for a first Pride Let's Talk. CB has to search her soul, but that's fine because it's my channel. So
I've done enough soul searching. I already found it. It's fine.
So all the
Just warn
things.
people.
There is no soul search.
And thank you to everybody who watched this on the replay and those who joined us for a live chat. We will catch you next time. Remember, next Monday, I will put out the poll for the... Actually, I'll probably put it up Friday. So Friday in the community tab, I will put up a poll for 5 Mer-themed movies to pick from for July. I'll see you next time. Bye!